Hello and welcome to Next Gen Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Good evening, racing fans, and welcome back to Next Gen TV, live on YouTube, live here on Wednesday nights. This is the NXTCC Season 9, and tonight for you, we have got the Blue Lobby. This is a championship with multiple lobbies. The Orange Lobby is the main lobby and will be broadcasted on Tuesday nights, which you may or may not have watched last night, presented by Paul Walsh. But tonight is the Blue Lobby, the second lobby of our NXTCC. And the reason there are two lobbies is because there's such big grids here at Next Gen Racing. And let's enjoy the racing tonight. Welcome to Oulton Park, round 5 of the championship. Tonight we'll see out the first half of the season. And what a first half of the season it has been. This is the NXTCC Season 9. 9 seasons, plenty of them in the bag already and plenty of them to go in the future. This is a series sponsored by many affiliates, partners and sponsors who help run the show here at Next Gen Racing, and they include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsports UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, and title sponsor for the series, Doble Motorcycles. Now, as we mentioned, this is a series hosted for the drivers on Tuesday nights, and the Orange Lobby goes out on broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. But on Wednesday nights is the replay of the Blue Lobby Racing. And this championship is very much aligned to the British Touring Car Championship, and you'll see that in further detail a little bit further on. But we have identical circuits, fairly similar cars in that we are racing touring cars. In the TCR cars that are hosted on iRacing, there are 4 manufacturers, including the Hyundai Veloster, Hyundai Elantra, and the Honda Civic Type R, and the Audi RS3. We have multiple classes in this championship as well. It is a series catered to all skills of drivers. There is the Pro, Pro-Am and Am category or classes, which means that drivers of all skills can take part in the championship. Typically the higher third of the championship go into the Pro category, the middle third go into the Pro-Am category, and the lesser experienced drivers will go into the Am category. Like we said, it is very aligned to the British Touring Car Championship. We have success ballast in this championship, which means that if you win your races, you get more weight on your car, which means that the other drivers who finished further behind in the previous races have more of an advantage than you in the next races. And the formats are very similar as well. We have qualifying to start the night off, and there are 3 races on each night. They are 20-minute races, and each of the races have a different grid format. The qualifying session on the day will form the grid for race 1 of the night, and race 2 will be formed by the results of race 1, and then race 3 will be a reverse grid draw. We will draw a number between 6 and 12 via our spin the wheel, and the number it lands on will be the number of which the positions that the drivers finished in race 2, they will be reversed from that number upward. And it's a fixed setup series as well, so no drivers are allowed to change anything on their cars. They're not allowed to change wing angle, tyre pressures, ride heights, nothing like that. The car out the box is the car they must drive in these races. Plenty of races still left in the championship as well, ladies and gentlemen. The prices are in the top right. I believe they'll be a little bit different as we're further into the season, but get in touch with an admin and they will see if they can get you involved in this series. And to get in touch with the admins, if you scan the QR code to the off center of our screen there, you can scan the QR code to get access to Next Gen Racing's Discord server. From there is where all the communications are made for the series. You meet the admins, meet the drivers, and meet the fans of the series. And if the QR code on the screen there does not work for you, there is a link in the description of this live stream or video for you. Just go into the description, click that, and it'll give you access to Discord. And these are the tracks we'll be racing this season. Very, very similar in terms of tracks, layouts, and dates, akin to the British Touring Car Championship. We started off the season at Donington Park National Circuit. Then round 2 was hosted at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Snetterton hosted round 3, and the last round of the championship that we hosted as of today was round 4 at Thruxton. What a great round that was. That was a round consisting of plenty of wet weather. There was a bit of wet weather in race 1, And in race 3, I think race 2 was a dry race, if my memory serves me right. But races 1 and 3 were very, very difficult indeed when contending with the weather. But today we're here at Oulton Park. It is swelteringly dry and hot weather right now. I'm struggling a little bit in the comms box here, and the drivers are probably struggling in their sim rigs and in the cars. But there should be no threat of rain today, he says. Commentator's curse, but I doubt that's going to happen tonight. But yeah, very, very hot out there. So let's see how the drivers cope with that tonight. We'll see out the first half of the season upon conclusion of tonight, and then we'll head into the second round of the season at the end of July. So we've got a nice break after tonight, but we'll come back at the back end of the summer at the Croft Circuit. Now, it won't be the actual Croft Circuit because that wasn't released on iRacing in the update just gone today, I believe, or maybe last week, one or the other. But Croft Circuit, it will be a different layout, likely to be Navarra or something like that, maybe Lime Rock Park, that's what I'm told, but no decision has been made yet by the admins. We'll get a decision later this week, and it will be communicated out to the various social media platforms very soon, I imagine. But it remains a mystery round 6, and that's part of the excitement here. But round 7, it's back to the circuits that we all know and love from iRacing and the British Touring Car Championship. Round 7 in Scotland, the very popular Knock Hill circuit. And then round 8 will be hosted at the Oulton Park circuit. And then Northamptonshire for the Silverstone National Circuit, round 9 of the championship, one of the shorter tracks on the calendar. But then round 10, it is going to end at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, where the British Touring Car Championship normally ends for the final round at the end of September. And when we head to that final round, we'll have a championship to fight it out for. But let's see how the championship stands heading into tonight. Now, last time out at Thruxton, we weren't able to provide updated championship standings, but we do have up-to-date championship standings. I believe these are provisional before penalties are given out for round 4 at Thruxton. But as we head into tonight, these are the provisional championship standings. And at the top of the overall standings, it is Matthew Cheverton. He's a long, long way clear, looking unstoppable at the moment. He has 7 wins to his name in the pro category. And I think that's 6 wins overall, I think, but a long way in the lead of the championship. Ben Bennyworth in second position. He was very strong last time out at Thruxton. Didn't quite get the wins under his belt, and in fact I don't think he's had one yet this season, but he has been superbly quick and is racking up the points and is rewarded with second in the championship heading into tonight. Not too far behind, only 17 points behind, is Stephen Fry. Now, he was promoted up to the pro category after round 3 at Snetterton, but third place in the championship for the Crest Autosport driver. Slavomir Dvorsky won race 1 last time out at Thruxton, and 4th in the championship. He has missed around this season, but 4th in the championship, he can put in a good challenge for second place, and who knows, if he can put some wins in, he can get closer to Matthew Cheverton. In 5th place overall is Mike Barber with Dylan Hunter in 6th position, Nigel Stock in 7th with Lewis Mason in 8th, Phil McDougall in 9th, and Joseph Gibson rounding off the top 10. But we do have subcategories, of course. We have the Pro-Am category here, consisting of some of the drivers we just mentioned, but it's Mike Barber at the top. Only 11-point lead, as Dylan Hunter is just behind. Now, Dylan Hunter had a pretty good round at Snetterton and Thruxton. He won race 3 at Thruxton, in fact, but race 1 winner Mike Barber from last time at Thruxton leads the championship, and second is Dylan Hunter. And the Old House won his first race in category of the season. He's third place heading into tonight, with Joseph Gibson behind in 4th place, just 2 points behind, and Carl Thompson in 5th position there. And in the AM category, it's Nigel Stock at the top of the standings on 209 points. He's got a very healthy lead of 15 points from Lewis Mason in second place. Now, Lewis Mason won 2 races last time out at Thruxton. It was probably his best night of the season heading into that round. He hadn't won a race yet this season, but he won 2 last week. So he certainly proved me wrong in stating he was the only driver of the AM category in the top region of the championship. He hadn't won a race at that point, but he's now got 2 under his belt and is looking strong for the championship battle. Thomas Delaney in third position has picked up good, consistent results this season. It's rewarded him with third in the championship. Mark Kent, who missed last time out at Thruxton, is fourth position, so he's got some catching up to do tonight and onward. And Sean Doby, another race winner this season, is in fifth position. So that's the championship standings heading into tonight. It is round 5, as we mentioned, here at Oulton Park circuit. What a brilliant circuit. It's referred to as the UK's mini Nürburgring, and that's because of all the scenery around the track, and quite a narrow track this is as well. It's a hilly track, lots of undulating corners, long sweeping corners, nice tight chicanes, and this island layout has been a part of the British Touring Car Championship since 2014 actually. Before then it kind of swayed between the longer international layout and the shorter, more original Foster layout, which is probably the layout I'm more familiar with my history of watching touring cars. But you can see the temperature of the circuit just below there. That's air temperature, by the way, is, I believe it's air temperature anyway, 29 degrees, which is very hot, and we're feeling it right now. And as we mentioned, the format for tonight, we have got a 15-minute qualifying session coming up in just under 5 minutes. And that will be preceded by all 3 races. We'll have a 20-minute first race, and then another 20-minute race at 10 past 9 o'clock UK time, and then at 10 o'clock UK time, when it all cools down a little bit, will be another 20-minute race. So looking forward to tonight. Drivers out on the circuit at the moment. Not many drivers racing tonight. I imagine the heat has got something to do with it. Maybe drivers on holiday. But it'll still be very, very good to watch. Now, our main championship rivals in the pro category racing tonight. Jaworski is top of the standings at the moment. He was very quick at Thruxton last time out. He just did not have the luck in race 2. He had an incident on lap 1 of race 2, and that really set up the rest of the night for him. And in race 3, I think he took the wrong tyres in that race. I think that's what my memory's telling me anyway. And race 3 just didn't happen for him, but he did get the race win in race 1. And he's looking very quick right here in practice. So let's see how he gets on throughout the night. Stephen Fry's 4th place here. Look out for him as well. And Matthew Sheraton, normally late into these practice sessions, and he normally builds up to good times towards the end of the session. But he is in 8th place at the moment. We'll see him get higher up the standings. And of course Ben Bennyworth in 6th position overall here. And just to explain about the categorization on our timing tower on the left, the drivers with the backgrounds of their numbers as black are pro category drivers. The white background numbered drivers are pro-am drivers, and the red background drivers, their numbers are am category. So that's how you can tell them apart from one another. And they are fighting for overall position, overall points, but they are also fighting within category as well. So it's all important to keep an eye on where they finish amongst their categories. And of course, it all adds up to the stats that apply to this championship. These are our previous race winners in this championship. Matthew Sheraton with the most wins in the pro category. Dylan Hunter, following race 3 last time out, has got the most wins in Pro-Am. And it's tied between Mark Kent and Nigel Stock for 4 wins each in the AM category. So it's all statistics worth keeping an eye on for this series as we head towards qualifying here. Very, very hot circuit, as we mentioned, here at Oulton Park. Well, actually, air temperature is 20 degrees. I can definitely tell you it's more than 20 degrees where I am right now in Northamptonshire. But the track temperature is 30, which is quite hot, actually, on iRacing. So that's going to be giving the cars quite a bit of understeer. It's going to be quite sticky under the car and going to be very difficult to get them into the corners. Normally, these cars, well, especially cars on iRacing, especially front-wheel drive cars on iRacing, the colder temperatures are much preferred and much faster. But the drivers will need to adapt. Of course, this season has been a lot of adaptation to the weather. Last time out at Thruxton, definitely recommend going back to watch that. The weather was all over the place that night, actually. And, yeah, plenty of wet weather, plenty of dry weather. in amongst it. Race 3 was probably the biggest gamble the drivers had to take when it came to tyre strategy as well. Some opted to start with slicks, some opted to start with wets, and one strategy being quicker than the other. So drivers just finishing off a little bit of practice here, and then we'll be heading into qualifying. We've got 4 drivers in Pro category at the moment, 4 drivers in Pro-Am category, and 6 drivers in Am category. And they'll be fighting it out for qualifying for round 5 here. Checkered flag is out for practice. And that is the end of the unofficial sessions for this night. Now straight into competitive driving in the form of qualifying. Now with Oulton Park being quite a narrow circuit, it's going to be quite difficult to negotiate around traffic here. Traffic that on their out laps or on cool down Slavomir Jaworski straight out onto the track, just behind Matthew Williams. Nice and early out onto the track. Now a 15-minute session here, and the good thing is, just if they get a lap completed before the time expires, they get another lap, which is proving quite important for a few drivers this season. But with the session being quite hot under tyre, underfoot, it might be that drivers will get very few laps in before they get fresh tyres onto their cars. We'll see how it pans out, but that would be my prediction anyway. And quite a narrow track here at Oulton Park. It's surrounded by grass all the way around, and there's plenty of pictures of cars going off the track, particularly heading down towards the chicane we've just been through there, heading into Hislops. Plenty of cars going off onto the grass. I got pictures of Jason Plato heading off of the track through contact with James Thompson, I believe it was. Can't remember what year though. I think it was 1999 or 98, one or the other. I remember Jason Plato was driving the Renault that year. But anyway, we're going to head to an on-board lap. If it's a clean start to the lap, that is. But we're going to go on board with Slavomir Jaworski for a lap here at Oulton Park Island Circuit. Heading to the Old Hall corner. This is a very satisfying corner when you get it right. Heading round the right-hander there. Now flat out as we head down the hill. The avenue into Denton's, and then long left-hander of Cascades. Getting in nice and tight onto the apex there. Just off the track a little bit, but legally off the track. At the lakeside straight, heavy braking down to the slowest corner on the circuit. First gear down to as low as 33 miles per hour through the island hairpin. Out of the corner, flat on the gas. Getting it up the hill and over the hill, downhill as we head towards Hislop's chicane. Avoid the tyres on the inside of these corners, and they're there to make sure drivers don't go over the track limits. Now into Knickerbrook. Got to be careful not to put the power down too early. It is quite a deceptive exit to the corner. Clay Hill under the bridge. Flat out round the water tower, and then a long right-hander of Druids Corner. A double apex corner. Hits the first apex and the second apex. Drifting out slowly to the left-hand side, and we head towards Lodge Corner. Another very tricky corner, but a big overtaking opportunity in the races. Hugging the curb on the inside, and then just brushing out to the outside curb. That looked like a very good corner as we go over Deer Leap to end the lap of Oulton Park Island Circuit. So to the top of the standings goes Jaworski, and I forgot to take note of the practice times from earlier on. But a 128.2, just below the 0.3s, is the early benchmark set by Jaworski. Joseph Gibson. Good. Sectors in 4 and 5. Now it's a 6-sector circuit. Now this was built in the days of iRacing when they would put a million sectors on the circuit, when in actual fact on most circuits IRL there's 2 or 3. sectors, but we've got 6 here at this small Oulton Park circuit. Only 2.2 miles, actually. This circuit is quite a short track, but because there are quite a few slow speeds corners in these cars, it just about hits towards the minute-and-a-half lap region. But Joseph Gibson, as we saw him cross the line, he is in 3rd position, highest Pro-Am at the moment, the only Pro-Am with a valid time on the board at the moment. And there's quite a lot of drivers in one part of the circuit right now. Now, who's heading towards the end of their lap right now? It is Slavomir Jaworski. And he'll complete another lap here. Now, there's a couple of green sectors, a couple of yellow sectors. That is a slower lap. And as we head back here, Williams puts himself on the board and Ben Bennyworth with a quicker time. That's Matthew Cheverton. He set a quicker time as well. He is just below half a second off of Jaworski. Still a bit of work to do for him. Gibson will cross the line again. Some good splits there, similar to Jaworski, but he does go quicker. He goes to 2nd in the standings. Good start to qualifying for Gibson. Not many other Pro-Am drivers with valid times at the moment. What about Dylan Hunter? He's approaching the end of the lap as Thomas Delaney goes quickest in the Am category. 6th place overall on the grid at the moment. Hunter heads over Deer Leap. Looking like not a bad lap, actually. He hasn't set a valid lap yet. But into 5th place he'll go with quickest lap, and up into pole position provisionally here for the Am category is Mark Hughes. We've got other drivers who are yet to set times in the Am category, but in the Pro-Am category it's just Mike Barber. We're waiting for a lap from him. Matthew Cheverton's looking quite quick in the opening sectors of the lap on this lap, so we'll see how he gets on. Lewis Mason putting in a charge for the championship in Am category, and Nigel Stock holding the lead in the Am category. Be very keen to hang on to that, but Lewis Mason came to very good form at Thruxton last time out and can put a championship battle in. Mason crosses the line. Is this a valid lap? It is quite easy to invalidate your lap here at Oulton Park. It can be quite tempting to go off the track, and that's what Mason must have done. He is still not in with a valid lap here, but Mike Barber did have a valid lap. That puts him into 5th place and 2nd place in category, and Nigel Stock goes provisional pole for his category. That's important because bonus points for category pole positions, not just overall. But he's 8th place on the grid at the moment. Drivers who haven't set a lap yet are Lewis Mason and Steve Johnson. And Matthew Cheverton on that last lap went a little bit quicker. Joseph Gibson's in the pits already. Now, I did half predict that drivers will have 2 laps on tyres before they get too scrubbed and they'll have to replace them, but it looks like drivers are going to potentially go for a 3rd here. Dylan Hunter to the top of the Pro-Am standings, but 3rd place on the grid. That's a very, very good lap indeed from our most recent Pro-Am driver, race winner. One good sector there for Cheverton. Now, these are very short sectors here at Oulton Park. I was going to say Donington Park then, but Sector 1's only got one corner, the Old Hall corner. As we see a driver going off the track there, that looked to be Lewis Mason, so that'll be another invalid lap. Oh, and his rear end all over the place there. Now, he's probably going to come in the pits here to get fresh boost. Yes, he is. And there are a couple of drivers doing that, so my prediction stands correct. Cheverton's in the pits, Jaworski, Gibson, Barber, Bennyworth and Mason. But there are some drivers carrying on. Dylan Hunter with a very good 1st sector. Nigel Stock completes a lap. He goes higher. He goes into 7th place. Puts a car between him and his rivals in M category. Let's keep an eye on Dylan Hunter. Let's see if he's on a fast lap here. Looked a little bit slow heading out of Druid's corner. Let's see. If he heads to the pits now, he does not. He's going to complete this lap. So let's see how he gets on. Now, the little timer that's on these overlays here are not 100% accurate, but that lap just then, I think it was actually an invalid lap. Carl Thompson goes to 11th place, gets himself 1 place higher. Now, there are drivers on their outlaps right now. It's just over halfway in the session, so normally we do see drivers at the halfway point head into the pits to get fresh rubber. Or on both drivers there, Carl Thompson and the driver just ahead of him heading off the track there. That'll be an invalid lap. Just ahead of him, that was Mark Hughes. Jaworski holding pole at the moment. With the 2 flying laps that the drivers did, and they're back out there with a fresh set of tyres and less than half of the session to go, just over 5 minutes to go. They have to get a wriggle on, they have to get the laps in. There are a couple of drivers falling foul to off-track penalties. Lewis Mason being one of them, I think Steve Johnson another. He's not out on the track right now. Stephen Fry is not out on the track right now either. Okay, so let's see how these laps are for some of these drivers. Dylan Hunter has stayed out there. It was a slightly slower lap, only by a few hundredths, but it's not going to put him any quicker. He's got a 10th.5 to find. A 10th.5 to find. That's going to get him closer to pole position. And that's overall pole position. Now, he's only 4 thousandths of a second ahead of Joseph Gibson at the moment. Super close between the 2 Pro-Am drivers, both on the second row of the grid at the moment. But Matthew Sheraton is the one who would definitely want to be putting in. Much bigger shift in this latter part of qualifying. Drivers going off there. Now, that would be the understeer we were talking about earlier due to the hot track temperatures. That will not be helping, especially on a corner like Cascades, where it goes downhill braking and then goes through a kind of a dip, which will push the car out wide. It will compress the car quite hard, and it would be so easy to push it out wide at Cascade. So that's going to be a very tricky corner tonight. And seeing side-by-side action through that corner tonight might well be entertaining. Now, Jaworski's heading for an outlap here. That's not going to give him much time to get himself some fresh laps in. He might just well do 2 laps, similar with Stephen Fry, who's heading towards starting a fresh lap here. Dylan Hunter crosses the line. Not a bad lap, but about 0.08 of a second off of his personal best in this session. Carl Thompson crossed the line just then, slower that time as well. Similar with Ben Bennyworth. Now, Lewis Mason. I don't think this was an outlap. But he doesn't go on to the board. It's still not a valid lap from Lewis Mason. It might have been an outlap just then. But he's got some work to do. So our current pole sitters in each category. We've got Jaworski in the Pro category, Dylan Hunter in the Pro-Am category, and Nigel Stock in the Am category. Of course, Dylan Hunter in the Pro-Am category is going for the championship battle. He's fighting with Mike Barber. Barber, who won race 1 last time at Thruxton. I believe that's his only race win of the season. But he's been super quick all season. And that's why he's leading the championship. Right, Hunter taking an unconventional line. I think that's to try and straight line his entrance towards the Old Hall corner. And he'll go for another lap. Faster time then from Mark Hughes, puts himself into second. Carl Thompson also went quicker. He's up to 10th place. What about Ben Bennyworth? He crosses the line. He went quicker, 8th position. And a flash of lights from Matthew Sheridan there to tell Matthew Williams to get out of the way. Oh, and he slips wide there. Okay, next driver to cross the line will be Jaworski. And Andy Chell has just joined the server, albeit late, and he's out on a lap at the moment. So good luck, Andy. Very better late than never, eh? But let's see how Andy Chell gets on. Now Jaworski, let's see how he gets on. He's holding pole position at the moment. Wouldn't say he's super safe in that position. It's quite close at the moment. Pretty good lap, but not quite quick enough. He's half a tenth off his personal best. Oh, and I think he had to back off at the exit of the Old Hall corner there. That did not look quick. Heading out of that corner. Stephen Fry won't be aware of that, but he's got potential here to try and swipe it away from Jaworski. He's the closest one to do that at the moment. Capable to do that right now, going by times. Carl Thompson with the fastest time on his last lap. Can it be another one? No, it won't. It will be slower. Ben Bennyworth crosses the line. Bennyworth doesn't go quicker. What about Matthew Cheverton? No, these drivers aren't going quicker at the moment. And that's Stephen Fry crossing the line. Will this be quicker? No, it won't. I think that was an invalid lap. Now, the checkered flag is out. So drivers who are crossing the line now. Oh, I don't think Joseph Gibson made it in time. Just about missed it, I believe. But I think every other driver, as far back as Nigel Stock, did make it. So at the front is Jaworski. Now, I think he had a bad exit from the Old Hall corner, and this is looking slow, actually. So, there we go. He's called it a day on qualifying here. He'll head to the pits. Dylan Hunter will be the first to complete a lap. Through Druids he goes. He's holding pole position of Pro-Am at the moment, but he's third on the grid. He'll want higher. The further away you are from your rivals, the more safe you are from them, potentially. He'll head towards the line. No, he won't. He'll head straight to the pits. That'll be it for qualifying for Dylan Hunter. Mark Hughes in the AM category. He's third at the moment, with Lewis Mason put himself into ninth on his last lap. He takes to the pits, and so does Carl Thompson. So some drivers are not feeling it. Could be the heat, the track temperature. Mike Barber will complete a lap. That's Lewis. No, that was Cheverton in the background. Call it a day on qualifying. And Barber did not go quicker. So drivers struggling here. Some drivers finishing in laps. Lewis Mason and Nigel Stock. Mason goes quicker, but he's still only second place. And Nigel Stock doesn't go quicker, but he's safe. And that lap actually still would have got him pole position, even though it wasn't a fastest lap. So that will be qualifying. Our pole sitters of each category is Jaworski overall and pro category pole position, Dylan Hunter in Pro-Am, and Nigel Stock, championship leader in the AM category, pole position for the AMs. Andy Chell did get a lap in. It must have been a warm-up lap and a learning lap. It's quite far off the pace, but at least he's here. At least he's racing. It's great to see. 15 drivers will take you to the grid in this Blue Lobby Tuesday night race, but Wednesday night broadcast. This is round 5 at Oulton Park. And we're here at the Island Circuit of Oulton Park in Cheshire. And coming up for you, we have got a 20-minute race, formed by the results from qualifying, and these are the results and the grid for race 1 of the night. On the front row at the grid, it is Slavomir Jaworski with, I think it's his third pole of the season, and alongside him will be Stephen Fry, joining him on that front row. Second row taken up by two Pro-Am drivers. They are Dylan Hunter and Joseph Gibson. Mike Barber, championship leader of the Pro-Am category, will line up 5th position with Matthew Cheverton, overall championship leader, starting 6th on the grid in this race. Two AM category drivers take up the 4th row, Nigel Stock and Lewis Mason, both battling for the AM category championship at the moment. Ben Bennyworth in 9th place, with Mark Hughes rounding off the top 10 on the grid. And 11th will be Carl Thompson, with Thomas Delaney starting 12th. 13th will be Matthew Williams and Andy Chell in 14th. Now, Steve Johnson, I'm not too sure if he's taken to the grid, but we'll see if he does start from the pits, if that's the alternative here. So the drivers line up on the grid for what will be the opening race of round 5. It's the 13th race of the season. 30 in total in the season. And it's Jaworski with another pole position. Can he convert it to a win? Jaworski so far this season has picked up 2 wins. One of them came at Thruxton, and the other came at Donington Park. He's got Stephen Fry alongside him to battle with. But Matthew Cheverton as far back as 6th. You can just about see him in the 6th spot. He's got a bit of work to do, but Cheverton is relentless. He has been able to do it many times this season. So let's see how the drivers get on. Oulton Park, round 5 is go. Off we go, heading towards Old Hall Corner. It looks like a very good start from Jaworski, actually. And Stephen Fry will continue holding the inside. He's now safe to go towards the outside. And we head into turn number 1. Gibson and Hunter side by side. Hunter goes a little bit wide, but it's still side by side between the 2 drivers, the Pro-Am drivers, as we head down to Cascade. Safe so far through the first couple of corners, but Dylan Hunter gets it in front into 3rd place as we head through. Cheverton's already up 1 place past Mike Barber to 5th position, and a few squabbles at the back end there. Heading into the island corner, let's see if there's any lunges into this notorious corner. Oh, and there's a car off there, that's Carl Thompson, and straight into the path of Lewis Mason. That in real life's a very, very scary scenario, and that's going to give huge damage to not only Carl Thompson's car hitting the tyres, but Lewis Mason as well. Twice a race winner last time out at Thruxton. Already a bad start to the night with a crumpled front end on that on the Hyundai. Good start to the race from Jaworski, stretching away from Stephen Fry already. Nigel Stock continues holding AM category lead, but he's got right behind him Mark Hughes, looking to be in very fine form tonight. Is Mark Hughes in the relatively basic livery out there, but quite a notable livery that we can keep an eye on. Let's see how Mark Hughes gets on in this race. No race wins for him yet this season. Oh no, sorry, 1 race win for him this season. Can he make it 2? At the end of lap 1, Jaworski leads from Stephen Fry in 2nd place. Hunter, 3rd position from Gibson, and Mike Barber just behind. 3-way battle potentially for the Pro-Am drivers, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Cheverton in 6th place, he dropped back another position. It might have been those scuffles that happened in the Island Hairpin. And just while things have calmed down a little bit here, let's just get another shot of what happened to Carl Thompson heading into the Island corner. So this is heading out of Cascades. I wonder if it was late braking from Thompson. Oh no, someone's hit the back of him. It turns him onto the grass, and that's it. Straight into the path of Mason. Mason could do absolutely nothing there. There was contact with another driver, which sent Thompson off the road. And that'll be one the stewards look at and probably don't take too kindly to. But that's all to be dealt with after the race for the stewards themselves. Now, there are live stewards in these races. They can dish out drive-through penalties should they need to. Good start to this race. 1.2 seconds in front of Stephen Fry. Bit of a swap of positions back there as Andy Chell goes off wide. He's still learning the circuit at the moment and kicking up a load of dust onto the circuit just to make the learning all the more harder for himself. But Carl Thompson moves back in front of him into 12th place. He's got a bit to catch up to get back up with the pack. At the back of the main pack it is Ben Bennyworth. Mark Hughes directly ahead. Through Cascades for the 3rd time, a 14-lap race here. Most of the races here are around that region because they're a similar time length. And these races are designed to last around about 20 minutes. They're relatively split up and relatively well behaved, apart from the one incident we saw. But we're keeping an eye on Matthew Cheverton here, championship leader. He's got a lot of weight on the car as well, and with there being quite a high temperature on the circuit as well, as we keep alluding to, 32 degrees now, so it's even hotter than what it was in practice. it's going to be even more difficult for those with weight, because the car just feels even heavier and even more understeery, if that's even a word. Even more so when you've got weight on the car and it's hot. So that might be where Cheverton will struggle tonight, as we're seeing side by side between Bennyworth and Mark Hughes. Not fighting for category, but are fighting for track position. And ahead goes Bennyworth into 8th place. One bit closer to Cheverton, his nearest championship rival, ahead of him. Jaworski not stretching away from Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry has responded in the last few laps with identical lap times to that of Jaworski, and fastest lap of the race does get you bonus points as well, so that's an important thing to have in these races. Fastest lap at the moment is held by Jaworski at 128.1. Half a lunge there from Gibson. Not to be, wasn't quite close enough to make a move on Dylan Hunter. Just trying to keep an eye on that apex and the flash of the lights there from Gibson. Maybe to try and put off Dylan Hunter ahead. Or maybe some other message that we're not able to translate. Iconic flash of the lights there on iRacing touring cars, or touring cars in general, where once upon a time we didn't have them on iRacing. How did we communicate back in the day? I do not know. They were the good old Kia Optima days, but we're in the TCR days here on iRacing. Now Steve Johnson at the bottom of the screen there did not take to the start of this race. There are 14 drivers on the track right now. Lewis Mason struggling at the back here, struggling at the back. I believe he came into the pits to take a fast repair, which is not ideal for him, I imagine. But there's the rest of the night to look forward to ahead. And look at the damage on the right side of Carl Thompson's car. He's carrying on. Now, he probably didn't get the infamous meatball flag, which is a black flag with orange disc. I imagine Lewis Mason might have got it. Williams is able, Thompson, excuse me, is able to carry it on. Near side by side between Hunter and Gibson. Gibson trying an undercut out of the hairpin. Now stretching away a little bit from Mike Barber. He slipped back to a second back from the two drivers ahead. He's got Matthew Sheraton to worry about just behind as well. Can't seem to get much closer at the moment. Got Nigel Stock, who's under a little bit of threat from Ben Bennyworth, and the trouble with that is if he squabbles with Ben Bennyworth, it gives Mark Hughes a chance to try for that position on Nigel Stock, which will be AM category lead. Oh, and Williams is in the wall here. Matthew Williams, the Welshman, had such a good night last time out at Thruxton. What has happened here? He's running very slow there. Oh, he's hit the tyres. And that's completely ruined the alignment of the tyres. And it puts him into the tyres near the lake there. It looked like it was in slow motion, but he hits the tyres and that's it. You can see the right hand side of the car there is just completely collapsed. And that is race over pretty much for Matthew Williams. And that's how difficult things can be around Oulton Park sometimes, particularly with those tyres on the inside of Hislop's chicane. So hopefully we'll see Matthew Williams back for the next races. Good controlled race from Jaworski at the moment. Identical laps between him and Fry on the last lap, but I imagine the lap before Jaworski pulled out a couple of tenths. Now that gap between Jaworski and Fry right now, you see, might not seem so threatening when we look at it on broadcast, but believe me, when you are in these cars driving on iRacing, you've got the virtual mirrors above you and around you looking back. 1.7 seconds is a lot more intimidating than it might seem on these broadcasts, so the pressure will be on for Jaworski here not to mess up. Now, he won race 1 last time out at Thruxton. He was able to convert pole to the win, and so far so good right now. He's got to take points away from Matthew Cheverton. He's got to get his championship back on track. He did miss around at Snetterton, I believe. And the last time out at Thruxton did not go to plan after race 1. So he's got some making up to do. Catching up. That was a pretty good end of the lap there for Stephen Fry. He's closed in quite a bit. Closed in by 4/10 on that last lap, so Jaworski's probably made the mistake somewhere. And with the hot track temperatures, it's going to be very, very difficult. And it's quite a narrow circuit as well anyway. So easy to make a mistake here at Oulton Park. We saw drivers struggling qualifying as well. Particularly Cascades corner is quite inviting to go off wide there. Try and use as much as the off track and the outside the track as possible heading out of Cascades, which is turn 2 on this circuit. Stephen Fry will definitely have more slipstream here. That'll be very, very helpful. In fact, some reduced drag might actually make the car a little bit better, particularly on the top end speeds, maybe even with the grip, not too sure. We'll see how this helps him out. Getting fairly close as well for this battle for third. As far back as 6th, Matthew Cheverton's not too far away. Fairly close now is Mike Barber and Gibson. Mike Barber has closed in the 2 ahead. Might we see a 3-way battle for the Pro-Am win between these 3 drivers who are pretty much fighting for championship honours. Dylan Hunter stretching away just a little bit. The only American resident in the server today. We did have Dwayne Hoffman also starting the season. Dylan Hunter waving the flag for America in this series and doing very, very well, it must be said, on the most of the other drivers' home turf here. Dylan Hunter of nationality United States and Jaworski of Poland, the 2 drivers outside of UK nationality racing in this server right now. Both of them are leading their categories, so upsetting the hometown heroes. Now Jaworski has stretched away just over a second from Stephen Fry. Very, very small gap gains and losses between these 2. But Stephen Fry needs to be much closer to try and put in a challenge for a potential overtake. Nigel Stock is slipping back from the pack ahead, but he's relatively safe in the AM category as Mark Hughes has got a fair gap behind of near 4 seconds to Nigel Stock. So Stock is relatively safe in category, him and Ben Bennyworth. Now I know these 2 have battled many a times in the in this NXTCC as well as the GT3 Championship on Thursdays, but also my IndyCar League. I've seen them battle many times in that. So a potential good battle on the cards here. Stephen Fry slipped back a little bit more from Jaworski. Oh, a bit of a mistake on the braking there for Gibson. Just about got it slowed down in time, and Nigel Stock guarding the inside from Ben Bennyworth. In fact, I think we're just going to take a replay of it. I think Bennyworth did get to the inside of Nigel Stock, but overshot the braking. Yeah, big exit there from Cascades. It takes to the outside, actually, so that's not the ideal place to go, but it was the only place he could go. Not going to do a Lando Norris here, is he? Didn't materialise to any overtake there for Bennyworth, but things are getting closer now. It's getting towards the end of the race, so drivers are going to try and start to put in some moves here. Now slipping back to near 2 seconds behind is Stephen Fry. Dylan Hunter holding this 3rd place. Barber getting very close to Joseph Gibson. Took a look, heading to Lodge Corner then. But it didn't materialise just yet, but they are thinking about it now. The drivers in these little battles from 3rd to 6th here, and Nigel Stock and Ben Bennyworth 7th and 8th, are thinking about these little battles now, thinking about these moves. As I say that though, it's divvied up a little bit between Hunter and Gibson and Barber. See if it closes back up at all, with 5 laps to go, including this one in this race. Shepperton had quite a good exit compared to Barber. Barber probably turned into the corner a little bit early there. Didn't give him the ideal exit, but I don't think Shepperton is close enough for a move. No, he's not. It's quite a difficult corner to overtake at, is Hislop's the first part of the chicane. But we do see it. We do see it many times in touring cars. Nice exit there from Shepperton. I don't think it's a good enough run, though. I don't think the weight is helping him out at all. Into Lodge corner again. Look at this back here. Shepperton looking to the inside. He's letting Mike Barber know he's there and he's going to go for the move if he can. Now we know Shepperton likes a big late inside move. And this pack actually are gaining on Stephen Fry a little bit, who's dropping back from Jaworski and falling into the clutches of the likes of Dylan Hunter and Joseph Gibson now. So he needs to be a little bit careful with the remaining laps. Oh, Shepperton looking around, looking for a place to strike onto Mike Barber. He's going to look to the outside, heading towards Island corner. Doesn't swap around his side by side also between Hunter and Gibson, but Gibson was very much on the outside there. But a good exit there from Gibson. I think he's got it to the inside, you know. Oh, I don't know if he has, but Dylan Hunter has given enough room for him to try. As we head towards the chicane, no, later braking from Hunter, he's able to keep it in front. That was very well composed there, and the cars did wiggle a little bit under braking. That's how hard they were braking it into the chicane. And just that minor battle there between Hunter and Gibson has invited Barber and Shepperton back into things here. And that'll help out Stephen Fry to stretch away. Three laps to go, including this one. Barber looking to the inside, so heading towards Lodge corner. He's got the outside much later on the brakes, is Mike Barber. Might he do this? No, he's going to wash wide a little bit there. That's definitely either going to give him a slow exit or a slow down penalty. Flash of lights there from Shepperton. But round Old Hall corner, Barber might have the better line here. If he can keep it on the track, he does just about. He's going to have the inside for Cascades. He does. I think this is going to be it. And Shepperton moves to the inside as well. Brilliant opportunistic move from Shepperton. And he gets it in front of Joseph Gibson. Or has he? No, Gibson fights back with a very good exit out of Cascades. And he challenges it back. Very late braking. Oh, he just about gets it slowed down, does Gibson. Oh, he just about finds the inside of Barber heading out of the corner. A bit of contact. Not enough to turn them around. But up the hill they go. Such a steep hill when you're in the sim. But Mike Barber, it took plenty of corners to do so, and that's what it's like here at Oulton Park. But he's into 4th place. But that has let Dylan Hunter stretch away a little bit to near a second gap from Barber. That might well help to try and secure a win in the Pro-Am category here. Shepperton will want to get in front of as many of these three as possible. He'll want to be closer to his rivals up ahead, ready for race 2. The results of this race determine the grid for race 2. Oh, and Shepperton, big dive to the inside, very big dive. Contact between the two, and sideways goes Gibson, and that's it. Shepperton is through. Gibson might not be very happy about that. I can kind of see why, but the move's made. Shepperton's through. Let's just get another shot of that. Wrong one, do excuse me. Wrong one again, sorry. Right, this one looks a lot better. Right, so pretty good run out of Druid's Corner. Yeah, very big dive to the inside. Well, you could say Shepperton got to the inside, although it was very, very late he got to the inside. And that's down to the stewards to decide. But Gibson might feel a bit aggrieved to that. But the race goes on. Shepperton's up 1 place, and therefore that'll get him 1 place higher up on the grid for the next race. There will be a little break after this race before we have race 2. There will be some soothing tunes and Benji Sim photos, screenshots from the previous round at Thruxton to entertain you. And we just saw there a little flash of the lights there from Joseph Gibson. Perhaps that is to try and put off Matthew Cheverton, or to just say back to that move a lap ago, I'm still not very happy about that, mate. Light use of the word mate, probably. Alright, Jaworski starts. Final lap. Nice healthy lead. Similar to what he did at Thruxton, a nice clinical finish in the opening race of the night. 2 seconds back is Stephen Fry. He's relatively safe from Dylan Hunter for now. 3 second gap with Dylan Hunter battling with the drivers behind. Just a moment to go. He holds the Pro-Am lead and holding the Am category lead and still in front of Ben Bennyworth. Solid drive, it must be said, from Nigel Stock. Leading the Am category. Cheverton might be able to put in a challenge for 4th place. Oh, I say that. Not such a good exit from the hairpin there. Such a tricky corner. Still flashing the lights is Joseph Gibson, trying to put off Matthew Cheverton or express his anger at him. One or the other. Or both. Might not be a move from Cheverton for 4th place here. There's plenty of the night to go. Good start to the night though for Jaworski. It'll be his 3rd win of the season. Another pole to first race for him. He'll cross the line as the race 1 winner here for round 5 at Oulton Park. And Stephen Fry comes through in 3rd place. Winner of the Pro-Am category in 3rd place overall is Dylan Hunter. And Nigel Stock will win the Am category and will pick up 7th overall. Carl Thompson was getting a bit closer to Tom Delaney and still with quite a bit of damage on the car. Finished quite well, did Carl Thompson, following that incident that arguably wasn't his fault earlier on. That did also cause Lewis Mason to fall down the order. And that's all drivers completed there, bar Lewis Mason actually. Lewis Mason had to take a fast repair. And that's what put him down the order. So there we go, that's race 1 over and done with, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the provisional results of race 1, round 5 at Oulton Park, and 13th race of the season. Slavomir Jaworski takes the win in Pro category, pole to flag finish, and fastest lap of the race as well to go with that, so plenty of bonus points along with his max points for the race win. Stephen Fry in 2nd position, of a strong race for him, with Dylan Hunter another overall position for him and picks up the overall win in Pro-Am category. Mike Barber will be 4th place with Joseph Gibson just behind in 5th. Matthew Cheverton, championship leader, 6th position for him in this race, with Nigel Stock 7th position and finishing top of his category, the Am category. Ben Bennyworth picks up 8th position with Mark Hughes, 2nd position in Am, 9th position on the road, and 10th position on the road is Thomas Delaney. Carl Thompson 11th from Andy Chell in 12th. Lewis Mason, who had to pit for a fast repair, is 13th, and a non-finisher due to an incident was Matthew Williams. And a non-starter was Steve Johnson. That's been the opening race of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to go back to that first incident at the start there, and we'll also take a look again at the Matthew Cheverton move for 6th position. Now, maybe there was a swap of positions towards the end there between the two, actually. Maybe Cheverton decided, you know what, I'll let you have that back. But we'll just get another replay of the lap 1 incident. So we're looking at Carl Thompson. It's the car just behind, which I think is Matthew Williams. So let's go with Matthew Williams here. We'll slow it down. Now you can see he's broke much later there. And he's going to take to the right. So you can see the car's already a little bit out of shape. And just swaying to the right, actually, is Carl Thompson. That might be something that's noted by the stewards. There we go. Carl Thompson just drives, somehow avoided the Quatermass car of Bennyworth, but Lewis Mason just went straight into the side of Carl Thompson. But there was a little bit of a move to the right there from Carl Thompson. That might be what the stewards take a look at. Okay, let's take a look to Matthew Cheverton's move 4. What was 5th place, but I believe he let Gibson have it back. So this is the move, one of the more notable moves of the race. But then later on, Cheverton's quite a way ahead of Gibson. Yeah, Cheverton's let him by. He's thought, you know what, I don't want to risk a penalty, I'll let you go. Now the stewards might say, well, if you wanted to do that, you should have done it earlier on. That's normally the argument when watching, well, any form of motorsport, really. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That might be what they say, but I don't know. But, yeah, Cheverton decides to let Gibson have his place back. And here's a reminder of the results, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go back through them before we head for a break. Jaworski takes the win from Stephen Fry. Dylan Hunter rounding off the podium. Mike Barber in 4th from Gibson, rounding off the top 5. Cheverton taking 6th position. Nigel Stock 7th from Ben Bennyworth in 8th. Mark Hughes in 9th, and Thomas Delaney rounding off the top 10. Remaining finishers were Carl Thompson, Andy Chell and Lewis Mason. A DNF for Matthew Williams and a DNS for Steve Johnson. Opening race of the night, over and done with, ladies and gentlemen. We have got, in approximately 15 minutes time, we'll start race 2 of the night. The results of the race we just saw just then will form the grid for the next race. So we'll be back then, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy some Benji Sim photos while we wait for race 2. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you very shortly.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to NXTGEN Racing live on YouTube here on Wednesday nights. This is the Blue Lobby for the NXTCC Season 9. Now, the races are taking part on Tuesday nights, but the broadcasts go out on Wednesday nights. But on the Tuesday nights, live, as you see it, is the Orange Lobby races presented by Paul Walsh. But we got the Blue Lobby races tonight, presented by myself, Alex Everett. Welcome along, everyone. Please give the video a like, please give the channel a subscribe if you haven't already, and also if you want to get involved in some closer communications of NXTGEN Racing, or even get involved as a driver, take part in the series, meet the admins, or just be a fan of the series, you can join our Discord. If you scan the QR code just to the off center of our screen there, you can join said Discord server, or if that QR code does not work for you, you can click the link in the description of this video. So the NXTCC is proudly sponsored, partnered and affiliated with the following organisations: PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsports UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falcon and PC, and Double Motorcycles, our title sponsor for the series. And we're heading into race 2 very shortly. We're in round 5 of the championship here at Oulton Park. Next time out will be late July, so quite a break after tonight, just over a month. And Croft Circuit will obviously not be Croft Circuit, it will be a different circuit because iRacing couldn't get it done in time. Come on, guys. But instead we'll be doing a track, I've heard Navarra, I think it's called, the Spanish track, as well as Lime Rock Park might be used. Other circuits might get used as well. NXTGEN Racing love Mossport, that might end up getting used. It'd be a track similar to the characteristics that of Croft. So we'll see what it is. We'll find out in the next few days and weeks, and it will be announced to NXTGEN Racing on the Discord server. So that gives you a reason to join said Discord server. But after Croft, we'll have Knock Hill, just at the start of August, and then to the end of August will be Donington Park for round 8. And then Silverstone for round 9 of the championship in mid-September. And the final round of the championship on the final weekend of September will be hosted at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. The dates are similarly aligned to the British Touring Car Championship. It will be hosted on either the week of the event or the week after the real-life event. Of course, real-life Oulton Park Island Layout BTCC round 5 will be hosted this weekend. And we're there at Oulton Park Island Circuit. Now, if the weather is anything to go by real life right now, it's going to be an absolute scorcher on the weekend for the British Touring Car Championship. But for tonight, it's quite high track temperatures and fairly mid-air temperatures. But the track temperature, 36 for this server right now, it is El Scorchio. It's very, very hot out there, and that might be having an impact on the drivers in terms of handling out there. Cars tend to understeer a lot more in the high heat, but also those drivers with more weight on their car means it's going to be putting even more pressure on the tyres, which is going to make it all the more difficult for the drivers who win the races. And the drivers who won the last race just gone by, Slavomir Jaworski was the one who won race 1 outright, and also Nigel Stock quickest in the AM category, first of the AM category, and in the Pro AM category, Dylan Hunter. So they'll have the highest amount of weight of their categories, but Matthew Cheverton in the Pro category, heading into that race just gone, was on the highest amount of weight. He now has significantly less weight, having finished third in category. So we'll see how he gets on compared to Jaworski. It might well shake things up a little bit in this race. Let's hope it does, because we saw very few overtakes in that first race, which is very surprising for this series, very surprising for touring car racing. So hopefully we'll get a lot more action in this race 2, and of course we've got the reverse grid for race 3 coming up a little bit later on. Straight after we look at the provisional results of race 2, we'll do the reverse grid draw for race 3. And it'll be any number from 6 to 12, so look out for those positions in the timing tower throughout the race, and especially towards the end of the race. The higher up you are in that 6th to 12th region, the more likely you are to get a good reverse grid. So race 2 coming up in just a few moments' time. And the grid for the race, which we'll read through very shortly. Matthew Cheverton getting plenty of practice out there, additional practice to get used to the new weight assignment on his car. But the grid for race 2 will be formed by the results of race 1. So Jaworski will line up on the front row alongside Stephen Fry again for race 2 of the night. Like we mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, this is round 5 of the championship. We've got whatever Croft will be round 6 after tonight at the end of July. Maybe by then it'll be a little bit cooler. But for now we've got scorching heat at Oulton Park here. We had rain to contend with 2 weeks ago at Thruxton, and there's certainly no threat of that right now here. Okay, we are missing a driver in this race. Unfortunately, Matthew Williams hasn't arrived to the grid. That'd be a shame, and I hope it's no conversation in Discord that might have caused that. But we have got 13 drivers on the grid. And this is our grid for race 2 of the night. Jaworski, race winner from race 1, starts on the front row with Stephen Fry alongside. Dylan Hunter, 3rd position with Mike Barber alongside in 4th. Joseph Gibson in 5th, with championship leader Matthew Cheverton starting in 6th. Nigel Stock will start in 7th position with Ben Bennyworth in 8th position. 9th position Mark Hughes with Thomas Delaney rounding off the top 10. Carl Thompson, 11th from Andy Chell in 12th position. And 13th will start Lewis Mason. And Lewis Mason caught in the impact at the Island Hairpin on the previous race. And that sent him far back of the order. He's got some work to do in race 2 here and race 3 later on. And there are, well, all bar one driver could land a reverse grid in this race, actually, with there being 13 drivers starting this race. So, you know, drivers who finish up in 12th and 11th position will definitely have their fingers crossed for a big reverse grid number. But that's what the drivers will be doing. They'll be targeting those positions of 6th to 12th. Those who get themselves into the top 6 are guaranteed reverse grid. So that'll be the target for the likes of Nigel Stock and Ben Bennyworth and Mark Hughes, perhaps. Let's see what this race can provide. Weights have been shifted around as well across the drivers. The drivers who finish higher up in their categories in race 1 have the highest weight of their category. And that is Jaworski in the Pro category. Drivers are set. We're about to go here for race 2 of the night here at Oulton Park for round 5 of the NXTCC. And the lights are out. We're off for race 2. Another good start by the looks of it for Jaworski. It looks like a pretty good start from Dylan Hunter, actually. He's alongside Stephen Fry already for the Old Hall corner. Matthew Cheverton slips down the middle in between Nigel Stock and Mike Barber there. Barber's not had a good start there. He's dropped down to 7th position. Down towards Cascades. It's still side by side between Hunter and Stephen Fry. Fry getting very out of shape heading into Cascades. He might lose out here to Dylan Hunter, and Cheverton is in front of Gibson. So is Nigel Stock. Good start to the race for them two. We head to the Island Hairpin next. Looking around is Dylan Hunter trying to get it to the inside of Jaworski. Not going to happen just yet. But Matthew Cheverton, a very strong start to this race. He's looking to get past Stephen Fry already, but he hasn't. Outside of the island corner, not the ideal line. He remains behind. But a bad start to the race so far for Mike Barber. He's dropped 4 places down to 8th place already. Oh, there's a move back there. Thomas Delaney was under a bit of threat from Andy Chell, but Chell did not commit to the move. It probably was for the better. And we know Andy Chell loves a good dive to the inside. A very brave move he's not frightened of. Heading towards the end of lap 1 here. A very good start so far for Jaworski. Dylan Hunter up into 2nd place. What a big turn of form he's had in recent rounds. 2nd place right now. Let's see how he can hang on to this. We got back here. That's Gibson versus Ben Bennyworth. Bennyworth to the inside and through. Up 2 places from the start so far. Good start to this race for Bennyworth. A lot of weight shifted off of his car, having gone from 2nd seeded weight down to 4th. And we got Cheverton to the inside of Stephen Fry. Through he goes. Oh, and Fry just about keeps hold of the car, but he's going to lose out to Nigel Stock, his teammate here. Does Nigel Stock help him down the straight, or does he contend for position? Oh, Nigel Stock's trying to keep his distance from his teammate, but they don't want to compromise each other. But Cheverton is up into 3rd place as Nigel Stock goes wide, heading out of Cascades. That's going to put him out of position again. Bennyworth is passing. He's under some threat now from Gibson. Stock drops back down to 7th place. It was looking like a good first lap, but he's dropped back and he's under a bit of pressure now from Mike Barber. Might be still in front. And he is. Into the chicane he goes. He stays in 7th place, but that was a very difficult few corners indeed for Nigel Stock. Fry dropped down to 4th place from the starting position of 2nd place. And Dylan Hunter, he's not losing Jaworski just yet, but he's got Matthew Cheverton charging behind him, who's been let off a leash here with a lot less weight on his car and gaining up the order already. 3rd place. Can he catch up with Hunter? Can he catch up with Jaworski? Jaworski, who picked up his 3rd win of the season in that last race. Hunter, who picked up his 5th win of the season in category in that last race. And 5th win of the season for Nigel Stock as well. So drivers are racking up the stats here. Good lap there from Jaworski. Fastest on the track, the only one, bar Ben Bennyworth in the 28s. So looking very quick yet again is Jaworski, despite the weight added to his car. Fry is going to try and work to catch back up with Cheverton here. Cheverton's getting fairly close to Dylan Hunter. Is he going to go and move into that hairpin? No, he's not. Stays behind for the time being. Oh, Andy Chow looking for a potential move on Lewis Mason there, who's trying to get his night back on track. A bad exit from the hairpin then. Almost being pushed. In fact, he is being pushed up the hill by Andy Chell. Is Andy Chell going to go for a move into the chicane? I think he might do it, but no. Lewis Mason hangs on to it, guards the inside. And Mike Barber's dropped down the order here. I wonder what has happened to him. He went into the pit lane for one reason or another. Not sure what that is. Maybe he jumped the start. That might have been what it was. Jaworski stretches it to over a second. The weight not bothering him at the moment, and he's not got any threat from drivers around him. Hunter in the Veloster Hyundai. That's Cheverton close behind in the Honda Civic Type R. The Veloster, the smallest of the range of TCRs, the narrow width of wheels and short wheelbase. Fastest lap of the race for Ben Bennyworth there. A lot of weight taken off his car, similar to Cheverton, and that is giving him plenty of pace. Oh, Cheverton goes for a big dive to the inside of Hunter. Hunter had no choice but to turn left on a right-handed corner there to avoid contact. But actually, he's defended it very well. He's rounded off the corner and he's able to get it out of the hairpin. Nice. Firmly on the throttle and keep it ahead of Cheverton for the time being. Fry right behind Cheverton. Going to try and get back past for that second spot in pro category. He might not be second overall, but he can get his position back in category. 1.6 second lead for Jaworski up front. Let's just check the track temperature as well. 36 degrees. It's as hot as it's hottest in the previous race. So it's very, very tricky. And a bit of a slip up there heading out of the corner for Dylan Hunter. A bit of contact between the two heading out as well. Cheverton and Hunter side by side. They head to the end of lap number 4. But back into third place is Cheverton. But no, he goes for a dive to the old Hall corner. Inside he goes, and Hunter has to go wide. A little bit of contact there as well. Through into second place goes Cheverton. And side by side here is Stephen Fry and Ben Bennyworth. But Fry has the better line through the corner. Bennyworth's going to try a late apex and an early power move out of the corner to try and make a move at the island hairpin. Can he make it? Joseph Gibson flashing his lights in the background there to try and distract the guys up ahead. Or to say, wait for me, guys. But the same winners from race 1 in each category are the leaders currently in each category here in race 2. And that's Jaworski for the pro category, Hunter for the pro-am category, and Nigel Stock for the am category. Cheverton already pulling away here. You can just see how much the weight transforms these cars. Once a little bit is relinquished, it just loosens up the car and just makes it feel like you're driving on air. It's fantastic. And that's what Cheverton is feeling right now. He's off the leash and he's able to try and catch up with Jaworski for the first time tonight. Now, can he do it over the remaining race distance? We'll have to see. Hunter's back down to third place where he started, gardening off from Stephen Fry. No moves yet from any of those drivers. That last lap was invalid for Cheverton, but it was 0.2 quicker than Jaworski. This could be an intense battle of lap times between Jaworski and Cheverton in this race. Battle for the AM category at the moment is between Stock and Mark Hughes. And Thomas Delaney, a bit wide on the exit of the hairpin there. The only one of these three who hasn't won a race yet this season is Delaney. Nigel Stock with many wins to his name this season, but Mark Hughes is putting in a good shift tonight to try and threaten that for Nigel Stock. .6 seconds between Jaworski and Cheverton. Let's see who has the fastest lap at the end of this lap. And as Jaworski crosses the line, that lap was an invalid lap, but it was a 28.57 and only 200ths quicker than was Matthew Cheverton with a valid lap. But not quite fastest lap of the race just yet. That's still held by Ben Bennyworth. And look at this. That's Stephen Fry on the outside there. But nipping to the inside of him is Ben Bennyworth. And through into fourth place. Now, Stephen Fry had no choice but to try the outside there. But it didn't work. And he's lost some position as a result. Bennyworth up into third place in category now. So even more points for him. Not just the overall position. That's very good for him. 4 places gained in this race. Joint biggest mover of the field with Cheverton, which gets bonus points. So I imagine they'll both get a bonus point for that. But there's still more positions to be had for both drivers. Cheverton on this lap has gained a few tenths on Jaworski.
Bennyworth is going to try and catch up with Dylan Hunter just ahead. Stephen Fry struggling a little bit here. Got a little bit more weight on his car than he had in the previous race. Jaworski had the same amount of that of finishing 4th place because he was 4th in the championship. So that has very much been swapped between himself and Ben Bennyworth, who had 2nd in the championship, but now will have 4th place worth of weight. Stephen Fry will now have 2nd place worth of weight instead of 3rd. So Jaworski and Fry gain in weight on the car, and Bennyworth and Cheverton have lost the weight, and you can see how much that is translating to lap times here. Cheverton on that last lap, fastest lap of the race, 2/10 quicker than Jaworski on that previous lap. And about half of the race remaining. It could well be on between Cheverton and Jaworski. We haven't seen many battles between them this season. We've seen a few. And what could have been race 2 at Thruxton, Jaworski spun himself on the opening lap of the race. Could we see the battle royal between Cheverton and Jaworski, arguably the 2 quickest drivers in the field? Bennyworth trying to get up towards Dylan Hunter to put pressure onto the 3rd place driver. Dylan Hunter will not want to lose this. You've seen already from Stephen Fry losing places for trying an overtake. You know, getting yourself isolated on the wrong line on this track will lead to more places lost, not just one. But Bennyworth is getting slightly closer to Dylan Hunter each time here. Just over a second between Matthew Cheverton and Jaworski. Another fastest lap of the race for Cheverton at 1:28.26. He was 4/10 quicker than Jaworski on that last lap. Less than a second between them. Oh, a bit of a wide entry for Bennyworth. That might have been planned, actually. I think it was just a late apex corner. It just looked a little bit wide on entry from our angle. But yeah, it was a very good exit. He got very close to Hunter on the straight there, but Hunter is guarding the inside very well. He's been doing that quite well all night, has Dylan Hunter. Just up ahead, Cheverton. Just nipping below the 1 second mark. Let's see how this lap stacks up. But it's getting closer. 6/10 between them. That was a good chicane there from Cheverton. And look at those gaps decrease as the last few laps have gone by. Even less of a gap now. Half a second between them. Bennyworth is getting close to Dylan Hunter as well. That was a slower lap, that lap for Cheverton, but he's still 6/10 quicker than Jaworski on that last lap. The pressure is on for Jaworski, but also the pressure is on for Dylan Hunter as Bennyworth was looking to the inside at Cascades, but didn't quite go for it. It's close between these two. Cheverton's already thinking about moves, just moving out of the slipstream there to just threaten a move on Jaworski, just to make him panic a little bit. No moves from these four either just yet. But nice and close between all of these drivers at the moment tonight. Joseph Gibson looking to the inside of Stephen Fry, just getting out the slipstream there to help for the braking point of the chicane. When you've got all those cars ahead of you, it's quite hard to see the braking point of the corners, particularly when it's quite a crest-riddled and hilly track like Oulton Park. Back up front. Cheverton's close. He's within 2/10. Could this be the one? We saw him make the move in the previous race. He's going for it, but later on the brakes is Jaworski. He just about got it slowed down, but he was a little bit offline there. Good exit from Cheverton. They too make contact. Into the wall goes Jaworski. Big drama here at Oulton Park. Jaworski's in the wall, And that's big damage to the car and dropping down the order. Sheraton carries on, but this has opened up the doors for Dylan Hunter and others to challenge Sheraton as he slows back towards them. And there could, well, depending on the outcome of it, Sheraton could have a penalty hanging over his head now. We will go back to a replay of that very shortly, but the action just carries on here. We can't take our eyes off it. Here's Bennyworth trying always to get around Dylan Hunter, but no, Hunter's hanging on to the inside very well, going into the hairpin. And Bennyworth has to guard the inside, because Stephen Fry will look to the inside. We've seen many times when drivers commit to the outside of any of these corners, they just get eaten up on the inside. It's a big drama here for race 2. The Blue Lobby at Next Gen Racing NXTCC round 5 at Oulton Park, race 2. And Jaworski's carrying on well down the order. Now, there's still the reverse grids to consider. He'll have damage on his car. He might have to get a fast repair. He hit the guardrail quite hard. That might serve him a meatball flag. Drama indeed. Now these three so close. This might be Ben Bennyworth's best opportunity for a move at the Old Hall corner. It's a short braking zone. He's got the inside, but Dylan Hunter can power around the outside. Stephen Fry, does he follow out of the corner? He's following Hunter, but Bennyworth wasn't able to quite get it past. He's back behind. Stephen Fry's to the inside of Bennyworth for Cascades. And through he goes. Wide goes Bennyworth, and it's going to put him under pressure from Gibson now. Stephen Fry's back into 3rd place. Guarding the inside is Bennyworth from Gibson. Oh, and Stephen Fry had to change lines. Had to back guard the inside from Ben Bennyworth. But stays behind Dylan Hunter for the time being. Sheraton is stretching away whilst these battle and go offline continuously. 3 laps to go, including this one. Plenty of battling to go, and look who's creeping into this battle. It's Nigel Stock. He might well be able to catch up here and get involved in the last few laps of this race. You can hear the tyres squealing. That was Dylan Hunter actually going wide there at Druids. And to the inside, potentially, is Stephen Fry here. Yes, he's on the inside. Back into 2nd place goes Stephen Fry with a bit of a mistake at Druid's corner there for Hunter. Loses another place. Oh, he just about guarded the inside from Ben Bennyworth. He's looking all the way around. It's a crocodile of the 3 cars there as they're nose to tail. Heading towards the Old Hall. Fry guards the inside. Oh, bad exit because he had a shallow entry. But Hunter has the outside for Cascades, which we've seen is not the best line. But he's got himself in front. Later on the brakes is Stephen Fry, though. Contact between the two. They'll both run wide. Dylan Hunter much wider of the two. And he'll drop down behind Gibson now. Huge place is lost for him. Bennyworth to the outside. He's got it in front of Stephen Fry, but Fry's able to get it later on the brakes. Back in front he goes. This is fantastic from all of them. A little bit of contact involved as well, just for good measure, just for good touring car racing. Hunter has dropped back a little bit. He's lost the lead in the Pro-Am category. Joseph Gibson now holds that. But Fry's back in front and back into 2nd place where he finished in race number 1. He was down in 4th place at one point in this race. So it's come back to him. There'll be another lap remaining after this one. Sheraton well and truly out in the lead at the moment. A little bit of a question mark over what happens with that incident. I nearly said incident then. Okay, final lap. Final lap to settle the score for these drivers. Dylan Hunter's dropped off a little bit. He's dropped from 2nd place to 5th place in a matter of a lap and a bit. Bennyworth looking around his rival, Stephen Fry. Fry goes wide, heading out of the Old Hall. Down to Cascades. Bennyworth, will he try and move? No, not yet. But we've seen him make that line before. Nice late apex, powering it out of the corner. But I don't think he's going to quite get it into the island corner. We haven't seen many overtakes there tonight. because it's been quite easy for drivers to guard the inside, and going around the outside has not been favourable in these cars in this heat. We have got Thomas Delaney and Lewis Mason battling a little bit there as well. This is for third place in category. Stretched away a little bit from Joseph Gibson, but there's not many more opportunities for Ben Bennyworth to go for the move on Stephen Fry. Fry just needs to get Druids right, and he could have this. That looked like a pretty good corner actually from Fry, but Bennyworth also had a very good corner, has the slipstream as well. Fry has to guard the inside, but Bennyworth will not go for the move. But we have to greet through our winner at the moment, the winner of this race. Matthew Cheverton comes through to win race 2 at Oulton Park. 5 places gained, and Stephen Fry, photo finish between him and Ben Bennyworth, but it's Fry who gets in front of the two, finishing second yet again in this race, 2 from 2. And Bennyworth up into third place, 5 places gained for him as well. Joseph Gibson, winner of the Pro-Am category, and winner of the Am category is Nigel Stock. Oh, what a dramatic race. Fantastic to watch, though. Ivorski has already stopped the car and got out of it. I imagine he is not happy. Now we are waiting for Andy Chell to finish the race, and then we will have the results. Provisional results. These are of these races. But it's a 1, 2, 3 of pro cars in this race. Stephen Fry and Bennyworth able to fight it back against the very strong Pro-Am drivers. And there we go. These are the provisional results of race 2 of the night here at Oulton Park. Matthew Cheverton takes the win, a controversial win, but he takes it. Stephen Fry in second position from Ben Bennyworth in third, rounding off that podium. Fourth place for Joseph Gibson, and Dylan Hunter dropped down from second to fifth place, not too far from the end, and relinquished the lead in the Pro-Am category in that race as well. Nigel Stock, 6th position, winner of the Am category in that race, and up 1 place from where he started overall. Mark Hughes, strong night for him as well, 7th position, and similar with Thomas Delaney, a good night for him. Lewis Mason fought back and tried for a podium spot in the Am category, but not to be, 9th place for him. Slavomir Ivorski will finish 10th position in that race, following an incident between him and Matthew Cheverton that saw him down the order. Mike Barber dropped down the field due to what I think was a drive-through penalty, and Carl Thompson in 12th position with Andy Chell in 13th. We're going to do the reverse grid draw now, and then we'll look at some replays. The drivers need to know what the reverse grid is, and so do the admins. But here we go. We got our infamous and rather clunky Wheel of Death here. A fortune wheel for others, maybe. But we'll spin the wheel and we'll find out what the reverse grid is going to be. It ranges from numbers 6 to 12, correlating to the finishing positions of that race. Drivers who are eligible for reverse grid: 6th place was Nigel Stock, 7th place Mark Hughes, 8th place Thomas Delaney, 9th place Lewis Mason, 10th place Slavomir Ivorski, 11th place Mike Barber, and 12th place Carl Thompson. Let's find out who's going to be pole position for race 3. Oh, don't be. Oh, it is. Fantastic. That's exactly the number we wanted. A big reverse grid. Carl Thompson will be pole position for the next race of the night. Yep, reverse grid number 12. That's the highest we can get, and we've had that 2 weeks on the trot now. And that is Carl Thompson on pole position. Right, we're going to go back and look at the replays of the race we have just witnessed. We'll go straight to that incident between Matthew Cheverton and Slavomir Ivorski. Excuse me. Right. Okay, so let's find that incident. Okay, we need to go a little bit further back than that. We'll go a few different angles, a few different speeds. Right, so heading into Lodge Corner. Shepperton didn't have the inside there, but wide goes Jaworski, braking much later. Ah, the tree got in the way there. Right, we're going to definitely need a different angle to that. Excuse me. I do need some water, but we'll press on. Oh, it's so hard to tell. In fact, this might be the best angle, so let's just get another shot of it. And we'll get some onboards as well. Right, we'll go full speed. This is the angle we saw it live. So Jaworski was able to get it late enough on the brakes. And as I head around the corner, you can see Jaworski was just a bit too late on the brakes. And went wide. Possibly due to the weight as well. Oh, it's so hard to tell from that angle. So we'll do an onboard as well. Let's go from Matthew Cheverton's angle. This is on board with Cheverton. It's so hard to tell, it really is. And this is the same angle, but from Jaworski's view. In fact, let's go... not too sure that's the best angle, actually. Let's go from this angle again. Let's see where his car generally goes. He's on the curb there. His left side of the car is on the curb. I'm not too sure. I'm not going to make any judgment call here. I tend not to. I make a call if something's quite obvious, actually. But that's quite a hard one to call, actually. It's definitely one I'm going to leave to the stewards. Let's take another look at that Dylan Hunter loss of positions that he had. I think it's here. Yeah, that's where he went wide. We're just going to go back a little bit further. In fact, that is way too far back. Let's try again. We will get there. Yeah, that was where Dylan Hunter lost. Yeah, this is where Dylan Hunter lost it. He was battling with Stephen Fry due to going wide at Druids. But then, let's just slow it down there. There's Stephen Fry, and there's contact between the two. Because of the contact, they both kind of understeer to the right. On the marbles is Dylan Hunter. That's not going to help. And that's how he loses the positions. So that's another one, another hard one to call. Thank God I'm not a steward. Used to be, believe it or not. Never again. Well, it's clerk of the course, actually. Never again. Okay, so that's going to round off our entertainment for race 2. We're going to be back with race 3 very shortly. Reverse grid is 12. So let's go through the results and therefore the grid for the next race. So starting on pole position for the next race will be Carl Thompson. Starting second will be Mike Barber. Third will be Jaworski, so a little bit of redemption maybe in hand for him there. Fourth position, Lewis Mason. Thomas Delaney in fifth. Sixth position is Mark Hughes. Seventh position, Nigel Stock. Eighth position, Dylan Hunter. Ninth position, Joseph Gibson. Bennyworth is in 10th position. Stephen Fry 11th. And Matthew Cheverton 12th. Starting at the back of the grid, unfortunately missing out on reverse grid, is Andy Chow. Race 2 of the night over and done with at Oulton Park. We'll be back with race 3 very shortly. Don't go away.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Oulton Park for round 5 of the NXTCC, hosted by NXTGEN Racing. This is the Blue Lobby live on Wednesday nights. And of course, on the Tuesday nights, you probably would have seen the Orange Lobby take place, hosted by Paul Walsh himself. Tonight, I'm Alex Everett, your commentator for tonight. And this is the Blue Lobby, as we mentioned. A big shout out should go out to the partner sponsors and affiliates who help put on the show here at NXTGEN Racing. They include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsports UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, and Doble Motorcycles. This is round 5 of the championship. Upon conclusion of this next race coming up in just over a minute's time, it'll be the end of the first half of the season, and we'll be heading to round 6 at Fake Croft, whatever that'll be. It might be Navarra, it might be Lime Rock Park, it might be another circuit. But that'll be round 6 of the championship towards the end of July. And we haven't got long until we get going with race 3. It is a full reverse grid we've got for race 3 coming up. And it means that Carl Thompson will start on pole position for this next race coming up. Reverse grid draw was 12 of the 13 that did race 2. So just missing out was Andy Chell. Could have been a full reverse grid maybe, but hey-ho. So Carl Thompson will start on pole position. Our race 1 winner, Jaworski, will start 10th in this next race. And the race 2 winner, Cheverton, will of course start in 12th. So Jaworski has got a big opportunity to right some wrong from the second race, and by that I mean caught up in an instant on the latter part of the race and was sent far down the order. He's got an opportunity here to get into the lead fairly early on here, and it means Cheverton has got all the work to do to try and compete with Jaworski when it comes to points. Here we go then. Let's go through the grid for this final race of the night. It's Carl Thompson starting on pole position, and alongside will be Mike Barber. Slavomir Jaworski, the race 1 winner, starting 3rd place. Big opportunity for him to take another win in this race if all goes right for him in this race. Lewis Mason in 4th position with Thomas Delaney. A good night for him so far in 5th position with Mark Hughes. Another good night for him as well, 6th position. Nigel Stock, who's won both races in the AM category so far tonight, is 7th from Dylan Hunter in 8th. Joseph Gibson, the winner of Pro-Am in race 2, will start 9th position with Bennyworth rounding off the top 10. Top 2 in race 2 were Stephen Fry and Matthew Cheverton. Therefore, they'll start 11th and 12th, and rounding off the back of the grid will be Andy Chell. This is going to be the 3rd and final race of the night. 20-minute race awaits us, 14 laps. And starting on the front row is Carl Thompson, who's going to be our winner. We've had 2 different winners so far tonight. Will we get another? We'll find that out in the next 20 minutes or so. And Matthew Cheverton, with that win in the previous race, has put his tally of wins up to 8. It might be a provisional holding of win in that race, because I don't know, the instant I just could not tell between the two on that instant. But we're going to get going with race 3 here. We'll forget about the rest of the night so far. We look to this race, and we're away. Looks to be a good start from the back there from Joseph Gibson. And as we head towards turn number 1 now, it's a very good start to this race for Thompson and Slavomir Jaworski, going around the outside of Mike Barber to try and take 2nd place straight away. That's 1 place down, 1 to go for Jaworski. Good start for him. Nigel Stock up 1 place already as well. He's passed Thomas Delaney, who's been 3rd in every race so far tonight. Oh, and wide there. That was Carl Thompson, the pole sitter. And that's Jaworski into the lead. 2 corners, 2 positions for Jaworski. A nice early lead for him. As we head into the Island Hairpin, sunset. Not going to be in the eyes of the drivers heading down to that corner. But it's getting a little bit dark here at Oulton Park. Dylan Hunter inside of Thomas Delaney, trying to make a move down into the next corner. Oh, and a big move there from Carl Thompson on Nigel Stock as well. Nigel Stock keeps it going, but he's dropped back a little bit of time from Carl Thompson as a result. But leading this race at the moment, Slavomir Jaworski, 2 corners, 2 positions, leading the race. I don't think it's going to be job done just yet, though, because Mike Barber lingering behind. Mike Barber is very quick, and he's going to be putting in the pressure on Jaworski. Cheverton, no places gained yet. Right behind Stephen Fry, who likewise, no places gained. Bennyworth has gained a place already. He's ahead of his rivals behind. That's the points that he'll need for this and his championship. So, at the end of lap 1, we've got Pro, Pro-Am, and Am across our top 3, and Joseph Gibson's in the pits there. I believe that might be a drive-through penalty, and it could be a jump start. We did say it looked like a very good start for him, and it might in fact be a jump start. So the race 2 win will not be repeated for him unless there's a safety car to close up the field. Oh, and sideways there for Thomas Delaney going through Cascades, and that will lose a position to Ben Bennyworth. But Joseph Gibson will probably not be a repeat winner in the Pro-Am category in this race. Current leaders are Jaworski, Barber and Mark Hughes, all top 3 in this race overall as well. Lewis Mason, who's had a bad night so far, caught up in an instant at the start of race 1, has very much been playing catch up and get back through in the remaining races. He just missed out on the top 3 in the previous race. He's second right now, right behind Mark Hughes. And winner of all 2 races tonight so far, Nigel Stock, will be going for a 3rd. In the Am category, that is. And so far, it will be 3 different winners in the Pro-Am category, with Dylan Hunter getting the win in the first race, Joseph Gibson, second race. And so far, leading right now is Mike Barber, right on the rear of Jaworski, putting in the pressure on the Polish driver. He's not going to let him get away so easy. Cheverton has gained 1 place past Joseph Gibson, who had to take to the pits. But with a lot more weight on the car, we've seen Cheverton did struggle in race 1 because of the weight. And he might struggle again here. Stephen Fry has had 2nd place worth of weight for the majority of the night, actually. So he's fairly used to it. He's right behind Thomas Delaney right now, who we saw just a lap ago run off the track at Cascades. He's now very much trying to make his way back through. He's got Ben Bennyworth right in front of him. Lewis Mason flashing his lights at Mark Hughes, either to say get a move on or to say I'm coming for you. Into Hislops. Fastest lap of the race at the moment for Jaworski. Mike Barber was quickest on that previous lap, but it was an invalid lap. They're dropping off a little bit from the top 2, are just stretching away, battling, well, nose to tail battling amongst each other for the time being. Let's just see if things move around a little bit more. Just waiting for Cheverton to start making his way through, as he inevitably does. Stephen Fry is on the inside of Thomas Delaney. And through he goes. Oh, Delaney trying a big undercut there out of the corner. Nice exit from the corner from Delaney. But is it going to be enough to get it back past Stephen Fry by the old hole corner? He is alongside. But Fry's trying to hang it around the outside. Not much contact between the 2, if any. But Stephen Fry is able to keep it going. Powered it nice around the outside. And he's through. And Cheverton dives to the inside of Thomas Delaney, who's a little bit thrown back by that. And now he's a little bit thrown off the track, as he loses the position now to Andy Chell. Andy Chow, we haven't seen much of him tonight. He arrived late into practice, and a big move from Cheverton to the inside of Stephen Fry there. And he makes it work. He just about had the narrowest of gaps. Bigger than the gap that Lando Norris had the other day. But he made it work. He's through and he's past Stephen Fry. Took Stephen Fry by big surprise there. But he's through. And now he can focus on the cars ahead. But he has got Stephen Fry behind, lurking around. He's not going to let him get away with that. He's going to challenge back. Slovemy and Jaworski on that last lap, by the way, set a 1:27.7. Easily the quickest lap of the night so far. Stephen Fry's trying to get around the outside at Water Tower here. Can't get it back alongside Cheverton, though, but he was very close. Oh, and he's very late on the brakes. And he just went into the back of Cheverton. Somehow he kept it going. He was very sideways going through Druids, and there's a big dent in the back of Cheverton's car there. Just about got away with it, did those drivers. Up a few more places. Biggest mover so far is Cheverton of the 3-place game. Holding this battle at the moment. Lewis Mason did make his way past Mark Hughes. Here's how he did it. This is heading out of Druids towards Lodge Corner. It's quite a far way back is Lewis Mason. Is it going to be the notorious Aztec Racing dive to the inside? Yes, it is. And he made that work, you know, and Mark Hughes provided plenty of room. Past he goes into 3rd position, leading in the AM category. He's stretching away a little bit from Mark Hughes. Back here, Nigel Stock would definitely want to get involved in this, but he can't quite find his way past Carl Thompson at the moment. Carl Thompson, who's 2nd place in Pro-Am, so this will be a good amount of points for him tonight, if he can keep this going. Cheverton, no challenge yet from Fry behind, and he's got a bit of time to make up. Now, stretching away a little bit is Jaworski. Mike Barber has dropped back a little bit here. No off tracks or anything like that for Mike Barber, so it could be a slight mistake from Barber. It could be just pure exceptional pace from Jaworski, who's setting 1:27 lap times here, which is insanely quick. Mason's breaking away here. AM category lead in his hands at the moment. We did have the timing tower did swap around a little bit, but Cheverton is still in front of Stephen Fry. Now Cheverton, this is his distance to the cars ahead. He's got a long way to make up. He needs them lot up ahead to battle, and we might get one. Hunter looking to the inside of Nigel Stock, but doesn't commit to the move. Nigel Stock behind the pole sitter of this race, Carl Thompson. It's the battle for 5th. Could be the battle for 4th if they close into Mark Hughes. Could be the battle for 3rd if they can close into Lewis Mason as well. The temperature, look, the temperature of the track is way down now. 20 degrees. It's cooled down as the sun set here in Cheshire. So that means the cars are going to be handling completely different. And that's why we're seeing quicker lap times from the likes of Jaworski into the 27s now. And I think this might be Nigel Stock on the inside of Carl Thompson. It is. Thompson went wide at Druids, and through goes Stock. Wide again goes Thompson. He's going to lose a position to Dylan Hunter potentially as well. There's contact between the two. But Dylan Hunter, because of that contact, wasn't able to get it around Carl Thompson. A flash of lights there to express his... I don't know the word I'm looking for. It just won't pop into my head. Anyway, Bennyworth did look around to try and get past Dylan Hunter there. And Bennyworth just doing that line again where he hangs it out wide on the inside, on the start of the corner, and then takes a very late apex. It gets him such a big leap of speed down the straight here. Oh, and Dylan Hunter, contact with Carl Thompson. He tried the same move that Cheverton did on Stephen Fry, but it ended up being a very different scenario there. Carl Thompson off the track here and stopped to the side. I imagine he stopped because he's very infuriated about that. Big dive from Dylan Hunter there. Oh, look how late he was and far back he was. I would say I don't think the move was actually on there for Dylan Hunter. He had to go off the track as well. And Thompson, I think, has called it a day, actually. No, yes, he has. I think Carl Thompson has called it a day following that incident, which is a bit of shame. But I think Dylan Hunter will be getting a bit of a word from the clerks at the course, or the stewards, post-race. That has allowed Nigel Stock to stretch away, focus on trying to catch back up with Mark Hughes and Lewis Mason. Thomas Delaney and Andy Chell battling for 4th place in AM category here. Andy Chell will be pleased with something higher than 5th in category at the end of this race. Something higher than 13th as well he'll be very happy with. He missed out on the reverse grid, but he entered into practice late. Didn't get much practice, of course, as a result of that. But we got plenty of side-by-side up here. Dylan Hunter and Bennyworth, also Cheverton and Stephen Fry. No moves made from either of them just yet. This battling is allowing these drivers to stretch away here. Lewis Mason, Mark Hughes and Nigel Stock, the top 3 in the AM category, fighting it out for the win. Can Stock make it 3 in a row in category, or can Lewis Mason take another race-free win like what he did last time out at Thruxton? Or can Mark Hughes add another win to his tally? I believe his other win this season came from Snetterton, I think. But driving very well tonight is Mark Hughes. Slavomir Jaworski, big lead here, 2.2 seconds. But with the temperature drop we were just mentioning about before, we had to look at other overtakes on the track. It means the grip just becomes so much better for the cars. The rear end just able to step out a lot more. And with that in a front-wheel drive car, it's very helpful actually, because it means you can use the power of the front wheels to keep the car in check in that slide. And it makes these cars like a rally car almost going around this track, where your steering wheel's facing the other way while you're turning into the corner the other way. Always wide there goes Mark Hughes, and this is going to invite Nigel Stock in to potentially try for 2nd place in category here. I don't think Nigel Stock is close enough this time around, but Stock's even closer now, and all the more potent to try and move for 2nd place. Now, if these two battle too hard, it means Lewis Mason will be able to stretch his lead away. So we've got to be careful about that. Dylan Hunter heading this battle for 6th place. Just behind is Bennyworth, Cheverton and Stephen Fry. Back here, the battle's still on between Andy Chell and Thomas Delaney. No moves yet, and we've got 4 laps to go this time around. Stock trying to get around Mark Hughes, trying to look for the best opportunity. Moves out from the slipstream, heading into the Old Hall corner so he can see the braking point better. This is round 5 of the championship, as we mentioned, ladies and gentlemen. It's the halfway point on conclusion of this race. Next time it's the end of July for the next round of the championship. Quite a long break, not much racing going on at NXTGEN. It's the Legends League also on the alternate Tuesdays. I think there's another round next week. A little bit of a break. The GT3s will be back later in the year. We'll be back with the second half of the season at the end of July here. Virtual Croft will be hosted at an alternate circuit. Potentially Lime Rock Park, potentially Navarra, potentially something else. NXTGEN admins will let you know as soon as. It has quietened down a little bit. The drivers are divvying up a little bit. Dylan Hunter stretched away from Bennyworth, and Bennyworth is stretched away from Cheverton. And with 4 laps to go now, we see some battles close up. And we will have interviews after the race, ladies and gentlemen, potentially from our race winners of the categories, and potentially with other drivers. Nice and neat for most of those drivers out of Cascades. There's a lot of dust and grass being kicked up from the cars. It's just natural from going wide at Cascades, which it's a corner that we've seen many times tonight. It's so difficult not to go wide out of those corners. out of that corner, Cascades. It's one of the more difficult corners in the country, in fact. It's very satisfying when you do get it right. But it's incredibly difficult to get right. As we've seen, plenty of side-by-side action there. Has been actually the corner with the most moves tonight, that and Lodge Corner. Lodge Corner has definitely seen the most drama tonight. But where I thought Hislops was going to get quite a lot of overtaking, it hasn't turned out to be the case. And the same with the Island Hairpin is it's quite easy to guard the inside. That's just typical of what you'll find here at Oulton Park Island Circuit. Now Nigel Stock's very close again to Mark Hughes, but closing in behind them is Dylan Hunter. He's able to close in on the 2 seconds behind that he was a few laps ago. Nigel Stock with a big exit here from Lodge Corner. Can he get it to the inside at the Old Hall Corner? He's not quite enough alongside, but he's going to try the late lunging move. No, powering around the outside was Mark Hughes to keep second place in hand. Now this is a bigger battle than Nigel Stock probably would have wanted. Dylan Hunter right behind. Hunter's already won a race tonight in Pro-Am, but he might not win tonight as Mike Barber is a long way ahead. And it could well be 3 different winners in Pro-Am tonight, the way things are right now. Trying to take a late apex out of the hairpin, a straight line exit for Nigel Stock, but it's not enough to power him up the hill alongside Mark Hughes. 3 laps to go, including this one. Oh, and something's happened to Dylan Hunter there. He's just gone off the track. Really not sure what's happened there. Let's get an onboard here. He's right behind Nigel Stock. I don't think they were side by side at all. Oh, he's hit the tyres. He's hit the tyres and I think it's damaged his car. Yeah, I think it has. It's damaged his car, and that's how lethal those tyre barriers are on the inside. That's pretty much race over for Dylan Hunter. You might have to take a fast repair here. Yep, into the pits he's going. Into a night that's been a little bit up and down for Dylan Hunter. A good race 1, troublesome race 2, and even worse race 3 for him. But a bonus position for the likes of Ben Bennyworth, Matthew Cheverton, Stephen Fry, Andy Chell, Joseph Gibson. Bennyworth just guarding off here from Cheverton. Holding the inside, going into the island corner to make sure that Cheverton doesn't try that diving move that we saw him do on Stephen Fry earlier on in this race. Mason's controlling the race at the moment in AM category. He's keeping a good distance from Mark Hughes. Not making any or many mistakes. One driver who is in an element of his own right now is this guy, Jaworski. The only driver to 1:27 tonight is in this race. Lower temperatures have helped, but still he's the only one who's done it. He's had the pace tonight to go for wins in every race potentially. But there's a little bit of redemption to be had for him here, given the incident that happened in race 2. White flag waves for the drivers to signal the final lap of the race. Mason went off the track a little bit there, slowed up a little bit. Don't want mistakes like that on your final lap. Nerves are setting in. Lewis Mason might be able to secure another win in the championship here. He's lost a few points to Nigel Stock tonight, but there'll be a few points gained back in this race at least. And Nigel Stock had a mistake coming out of Cascades. And look who's just nipped around the outside and in front of Ben Bennyworth is Cheverton. And he might well have done it. First time we've seen someone overtake around the outside at the Island Hairpin then. It was Cheverton. That was very smartly done. Nothing Bennyworth could do. He had to try and follow Stock. And Cheverton just powered it around the outside and under braking. And he now takes second place in the pro category in this race. But what a night this guy's had. It didn't quite go well in race 2, but 2 races he's won tonight. Race 1 and race 3. Stellar driving in this race from Jaworski. He takes the win in race 3. Mike Barber will take a Pro-Am win, similar to what he did last time at Thruxton. And another win in Am category for Lewis Mason. Mark Hughes in second in category, 4th on the road, and 5th on the road, 3rd in category, Nigel Stock. Matthew Cheverton will come through 6th place in this race from Ben Bennyworth in 3rd, and Stephen Fry 4th and 8th overall. Well, I would definitely say the more exciting race was definitely race 2. But there were some very, very key moments in that race, I would say. This is the tally of race winners so far this season. No new race winners tonight. But Cheverton up to 8 race wins for the season. Up to 4 for Jaworski. Just half of what Cheverton has now. With Morales and Stephen Fry taking the other wins in pro category. Phil McDougall not racing tonight, but still 3 wins for him. Hunter put himself up to 5 wins. Barber put himself up to 2 wins. And Gibson up to 3. And in the Am category, Nigel Stock has put himself up to 6 wins. And up to 3 wins goes Lewis Mason. And here are the results of race 3 of the night. It's a win for Jaworski. 2 from 3 tonight, with Mike Barber in 2nd place, highest of the Pro-Am category drivers in that race. 3rd place for Lewis Mason, highest of the Am category drivers, and 2 and 3 in category, but 4th and 5th on the road are Mark Hughes and Nigel Stock. 6th on the road is Matthew Cheverton, taking 2nd place in the final lap there in category from Ben Bennyworth. Stephen Fry, 8th position with Andy Chell, his best result of the night in 9th place there. Joseph Gibson in 10th with Dylan Hunter in 11th, getting the damage to his car, which led to having to get to the pits. And Joseph Gibson ahead had a drive-through penalty due to jump start. And Thomas Delaney, not sure what's happened to him, but 12th place for him and a DNF for Carl Thompson. We're going to have some interviews very shortly. The drivers are just going to be cooling off a little bit. I imagine some will go for some bio breaks, I imagine. But we will have some interviews. And just to do a little bit of promotion before we get going with this said interviews, we have the QR code just to the off center there. If you scan that, you can get access to Next Gen Racing's Discord server. There you'll meet the drivers, meet the admins, and you can get involved in the series. If the QR code does not work for you there, you can click the link in the description of this video, and that'll give you access to Next Gen Racing's Discord server. Right, let's go back to the start of the race. And we'll chat to some drivers. Now, first of all, we are going to chat to our race 1 winner of the night in the Pro-Am category, that is. Dylan Hunter joins us in the comms box. So, Dylan, tonight, a bit of an up and down night for yourself. A very good race 1. Race 2, very exciting, but dropped down a few places and it just all went wrong, just by the smallest of margins in race 3. But generally, how are you feeling about your nights tonight?
I did really well, even with the weight on the cars. I held off pro racers, or the pro class, so I'm pretty happy. The last race I was trying to chase down and get around stock. I came a little too close there to those tire barriers, and they bite.
Yeah, so just to confirm, that's what happened. You just took a little bit too much apex and you clipped the tyre wall on the inside. Is that right?
Yeah, and it held my wheel a little too much, and I could not. I had to go into pit then at that point.
That's a shame, that is. Going quite well in race 3 as well. Now, they do say this track, I did say at the start of the broadcast, is a little bit like a mini Nürburgring, or the UK's version of the Nürburgring, and it does bite, as you mentioned. But a race 1 win for yourself there, Dylan. It was probably one of the better races of the season as well, would you think?
Oh yeah, it was. I was happy with that. No rain. held my own. I'm not a good hot lapper, but I know how to make the car wide to hold my positions. I did everything I could. Same thing with race 3 or race 2. I held as much as I could. Till I couldn't. I did as much as I could to hold back, even with the extra weight on the cars.
And just to talk about something in race 3, there was a little incident between yourself and Carl Thompson during that race, in the politest words possible, if you can. What was your perspective of that incident that happened there?
I went down on the inside to get to the inside of that hairpin. I thought he was going to give me a little bit more room, and I guess he didn't. I'm not sure. I haven't looked back fully at what happened. Plan on doing that to see exactly if I did wrong or wasn't enough room one way or another. But, I mean, it's racing. We all make misjudgments.
Yeah, absolutely. And one for the stewards to look at probably as well. But, yeah, it's important for drivers to look at the replays as well before really assessing incidents. But I was just looking for your reaction from it. But, yeah, a fairly decent, nice race and a good haul of points tonight. And a race win to go with it as well. We got, well, I say we got Croft next. Now, we don't know what track it's going to be. It might be Navara, it might be Lime Rock Park. It'd be good if it's Lime Rock Park, I'm assuming, because that would be technically a home race for you. What's your thoughts heading into the next rounds then?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got a good break here. Hopefully they announce what track it is sooner than later, so I can, if it's a European track, I can get at least practice on it. If it's Lime Rock, I can start getting laps out and figuring out where I'm slow at and seeing where I'm fast and I guess seeing what I can do.
Great stuff. And I believe heading into tonight you were leading the championship. So how confident are you feeling about the championship going forward?
I feel pretty confident with the championship points. It was about an 11-point gap when I looked going into the race with Mike Barber. And I think after his misstart, it might have put me in the lead. It might be dead even at this point from my mistake on race 3, getting me basically a DNF almost.
Okay, and final question, Dylan. Is there anybody who might be watching the broadcast tonight or on a replay, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My wife, like always, my parents, Nordy Design, P1 Simulators, Adapt Sim Racing Team. That's all I have for now.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks, Dylan. We'll see you at the end of July for round 6 of the championship. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Dylan Hunter, race 1 winner and 3rd place in race 3 just then. Right, we're going to move on to our next interview and we're going to chat to a driver who has had, I believe it is, 3 second place finishes tonight in the AM category, but definitely one of the better nights of the season for this driver overall, and a 4th place overall in race 3 as well. Mark Hughes joins us in the comms box. Mark, welcome along for I think the first time this season, but good night for yourself. How are you feeling straight after it? Just check your devices are working, Mark. We'll come back to that eventually. Just if you manage to get it working, let us know. But yeah, 3 second place finishes for Mark tonight. Just behind, there we go. I don't think he can get his mic working. There we go. Just behind Nigel Stock in races 1 and 2, and just behind Lewis Mason in race 3. Has picked up a win this season, so we'll have to see if he can get another one at another point. But so close to race wins tonight. Right, okay, we'll chat to someone else now. We're going to chat to...
anything.
Oh, sorry, Matt, you were mid-conversation. Sorry, mate. But you're having an interview. Matthew, welcome to the comms box. Feeling initially surprised right now, but yeah, how are things tonight? How are you feeling?
Knackered is the first word. Yeah, sorry about that. We was discussing my trip to Le Mans. I got back yesterday, so yeah, a bit knackered. I don't think I've stopped driving, whether that's iRacing or LMU, since 11 o'clock this morning, whether that's GT3 updates in both games or getting laps in for tonight or doing majors practice. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, a bit knackered, but well, we got at least one win, which was quite good considering how much of a truck the Honda was tonight.
Yeah, I've made it a point of discussion tonight that you probably didn't get as much practice in as you probably would have liked as you were at Le Mans, and we might have seen that a little bit with practice and qualifying and potentially race 1, but the night did start to come to you when it came to race 2 eventually. Now, we did have a little bit of an incident between yourself and Jaworski, just in the kindest way you possibly can. What was your perspective of that incident?
It was a bit unexpected, to be fair. I thought we had the space to do it. We watched the cameras back. I was alongside. I thought I was yanking right as hard as I could to try and give space, but she just kept understeering. It wasn't enough. I thought I gave him the space, and then he just turned more into me. But then we watched the cameras back, and we were alongside, but he'd gone off a bit wide, so he was trying to come back on, and then 2 into 1 don't go. So it's it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, one that the stewards will inevitably look at. A few incidents like that tonight, but leave it to them. They'll see what they say about it. But you picked up a race win tonight. Was that to be expected tonight? Were you expecting any race wins tonight, given that, as you mentioned, you've got a lot of weight on the car, which on a track like this, and in the track temperature that we had, does not help. Were you expecting it?
After practice quality race 1, absolutely not. I checked the bonnet of my car and it said Kenworth rather than Honda, so I didn't think we'd have much pace to get that, but then we got P6 and then we dropped over half the weight I had in race 1, so the speed was there, and then I was trying to get by Dennon quite hard. I was like, move, and then got by him, and then just tried to hunt down Jaworski at a rate of knots, got to him. We had the ding dong, and then unfortunately, once that all sorted itself out, just zoomed off. So wasn't expecting it, but I will take it very gladly.
Excellent stuff. And I've got a question for you. Were you on the start-finish straight for the Le Mans celebrations on the weekend? That must have been some celebration.
Yes, I was, both start and finish and hyperpole, all of that, and yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the guys I was with have gone, well, members of Aztec or uni mates, whoever. I say this is their 3rd year going, and they say it's the best they've done it, and I think just all of it in general. I mean, if we're gonna, isolate anything, the Valkyrie, the apps just, yeah.
Gorgeous.
I think I'm making a lot of people jealous, the fact I have heard it in person, and it's as good as people say. It's beautiful.
Well, hopefully when it comes around properly, it's as quick as it sounds. But it's a filthy looking car. It's fantastic. But yeah, I'm quite jealous. It's definitely on my bucket list, Le Mans is. Great testimony to that. So for the championship heading off now, we're not sure what track is going to be next. It might be Navarra, it might be Lime Rock Park. That's what I've heard on the grapevine. But generally for the championship going forward, you've got a big lead in the championship. Different to GT3s where you had a close battle and you were very much on the back foot slightly of that battle. But right now you've got a good control of the championship. How are you feeling right now about it? Are you feeling conscious that it might slip away at all, or are you feeling confident that you can just keep up the momentum?
Well, I want to keep it as far as that big of a gap as possible, but I seem to be making a habit of closing up with a few incidents I've been having. I think I got done twice for Thruxton, and well, we'll see how this week goes. But hopefully we can just keep the gap. I mean, I don't really want to have another sort of slightly down round like tonight, but we could afford it, which we'll probably have to take a knock hill considering how technical that track is. It's very, if anything, I'd say similar to Oulton, so
yeah,
I'm expecting to be a bit slow there, but we'll see what the next track is. Obviously iRacing have been annoying and not giving us croft. So we'll have to see what's what. But obviously we go back to Donington, we go back to Brands, and I had a good run there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just got to, stop getting into door banging incidents.
It's story car racing, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, the floor is yours, Matt. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, well, shout out to Aztec Racing team, our sponsor Claremont Consulting. Another alright weekend. Shout out to Lewis, got third in race 3, so another overall podium for him. Well done to him. Shout out to parents and family always watching, cheering me on. So yeah, big thanks to those guys, and another win every round. So that's a good little stat to have this season.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. You're absolutely right. 8 wins in the season and at least 1 every round. It's a good record to have. Well, thanks, Matt. We'll see you in a couple of months' time for round 6.
Yep. Cheers. Thank you.
There we go. Matt Cheverton, championship leader, potentially still after tonight, but pending any penalties, as he mentioned, maybe coming from Thruxton, maybe coming from this round. Who knows? Who knows? Right, okay, we are going to move on to our final interview of the night. And it's going to be... who else is it going to be? It's going to be our boy Andy Gell we're going to chat to finish off our round of interviews tonight. So, Andy, probably caught you by surprise there. Welcome to the comms booth. Welcome back to the comms booth. A regular favourite. How are you doing, mate?
How are we doing?
You go first.
I'm good, mate. I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Very hot. Very hot. I imagine you're similar right now.
Yeah, I've been racing since about 6:30 tonight.
Oh, no.
Which is why I only just made it into qualifying. We've had another league start that the team have got a couple of drivers in. Yeah, it was. I said to JB it was going to be tight for me for the first race. So yeah, I've not eaten yet either, to be honest with you, because I finished work at 6. So all fun and games. But yeah, it's been going well tonight, mate. To be fair, yeah.
Well, race 3 was definitely the highlight of your night. Now, you were probably lacking a bit of practice heading into qualifying because you just joined the server quite late on there. But race 3 definitely looked good. You had a good battle by the looks of it, unless I missed anything, between yourself and Thomas Delaney. So, yeah, is that generally how you're feeling about race 3?
Yeah, race 3 went really well, to be fair. The other two, as you say, yeah, it was just getting acquainted with the car, the track. Practice is practice, but when you jump into the race server, everything's different. So just getting really acquainted with the car. Obviously having a rush qualifying didn't help, but it's the nature of it. But yeah, definitely me and Tom had a really fun little battle. I don't know if you caught it on stream, but I lost it into druids and kind of like rallied my way around it.
Back to your
which
roots.
Which yeah, is exactly what I thought. He'd be like, if you caught this, you'd be like, oh, look, Andy thinks he's in the rally car again. Yeah, it was a good fun little race, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to argue with the P9. So
absolutely. How are things in the Quatermass camp? Because quite a good night for Mike. A race win in 3. And Bennyworth, super competitive. He can't quite get the race wins, but he's there, constantly knocking on the door of race wins. So, are things good in the Quatermass camp right now?
Yeah, we're all really good. Ben, obviously, like you say, that itch is there for him. And yeah, I mean, Matt's racing brilliantly. Not to take anything away from Matt, but Ben is eager to get one over and get a win. Yeah. Yeah, he's chomping at the bit for that, and he's doing everything. He's doing everything he can to get it. So yeah, he's doing really well. But yeah, it is something that he comments on every time. He's like, I couldn't get it. I don't know. I need to get it. And it's like, I don't know if it's like we said, maybe just overthinking it. It's something we've talked about. So, but you know, he's still absolutely owning it. You know, he's, I think, second still in the championship, just waiting for confirmation on the points. But you know, he's doing absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Mike's absolutely smashed it tonight. Race win, which honestly at this track I was a bit shocked to see him further down the order in the other two races, because this is Mike's favourite track. He absolutely loves this. It's our local track. Me and Mike live quite close together, so for us it's only 20 to 30 minutes down the road, well, up the road from us. So it's one he's driven multiple times in real life. So yeah, that's obviously come through for him, and you know, hard work's rewarded, and you know, he thoroughly deserves it. So really happy with that. And you know, Mike's Mike, he's like me. He takes everything with a laugh and a smile. Probably why we're best friends, to be honest with you. And yeah, so yeah, the only one unfortunately we haven't had with us tonight is Stanley. He's on holiday at the moment, so he's doing well. He's well, to quote him, he's currently in a wet field in France in a caravan. So
oh, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in France on Le Mans week. You know, I can't envy him, sort of thing. But yeah, so he's our youngest driver. So unfortunately, when the holiday is planned, he's on holiday, sort of thing. So it just means unfortunately he's missed on a couple of races, but he'll be back with us soon. And again, he absolutely loves driving the TCRs. He really enjoys it, and I think when he's been in the races, that's shown. So again, yeah, we're all good in the Quatermass camp.
Good stuff. That's good to know. Okay, so we're not too sure what round 6 holds for us in many ways, more than one, as it's just come to light. But how are you feeling for the rest of the season generally in the AM category? It may be a championship's out of the question, but what kind of targets are you going to set yourself?
I'm just targeting points, and you know, every race, if I can do a little better than I was doing at the start of the season, then I'll be happy. Like I said, this is only my second season in this car, and it's, especially now we've had the update to tyre model for the GT3s, it's a vastly different car to what I'm spending most of my time driving. So for me, I just want to see, you know, consistent results. Maybe cutting out the mistakes a little. You know, like in qualifying where I hit the barrier going into the chicane. Not Bittens, the other one. You know, just sort of like dialing them out so that it's less about me making, I've made a mistake, and that's set my night up to being, you know, I've had maybe I'm not finishing in the top 10 all the time, especially if we've got more guys back on the grid, but if I'm finishing 5th, 4th in class, then I'll be happy with that, and that's kind of what I'm targeting.
Good stuff. Okay, that's all we got time for now, Andy. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to who might be watching this broadcast tonight or even on replay?
Yeah, I mean, usual people, so shout out to the team. Ben, Mike, as I said, just think you've done brilliantly, guys, so well done. Stanley, hope the weather in France gets a little better for you, matey, and can't wait to have you back with us. Obviously to the NXTGEN staff that put this on, because without them we wouldn't have a place to go racing yourself, because without you, you know, commentating on it and and giving your brilliant insight into what's going on, and putting up with me coming into the booth every time I'm racing, then we wouldn't have a good environment for it. And to the full Quatermass team that I know will be watching on tomorrow when everything goes live, or today as they're listening to it, and our sponsors that let us go racing.
Excellent stuff. Well, thanks again, Andy, for joining us. Let's see if we have any more interviews on Tuesday nights going forward. Let's find out. But we'll take care. Have a good summer. We'll speak to you when we're back.
You will indeed, mate. See you later.
There we go. Big thanks to Andy yet again for volunteering to be interviewed. Him, like others, always volunteering, no matter how bad the night goes for him. Okay, we are going to wrap it up tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, some very subliminal messages I've mentioned just then. It might be that we don't have a blue lobby next time out, but we'll find out. Let's not speculate just yet. We'll find out what happens in the coming weeks with Next Gen Racing and the NXTCC. But it might be that the lobbies get combined, as it will make for some big grids and very exciting racing. But let's find out. Let's wrap it up tonight, though, ladies and gentlemen. Big thank you to all the drivers taking part tonight. This is just a reminder of the race 3 results. Jaworski taking the win from Mike Barber in 2nd and Lewis Mason in 3rd. Hughes 4th from Stock in 5th and Sheraton 6th. Bennyworth 7th from Stephen Fry in 8th, Andy Chell 9th and Gibson in 10th. Rounding off the finishers were Dylan Hunter and Thomas Delaney. Carl Thompson failing to finish the race. This has been the NXTCC Season 9 Blue Lobby. I've been Alex Everett, your commentator tonight. If you want to get involved in the series, you still can. Scan the QR code just see off the centre of our screen there, and that will give you access to Next Gen Racing's Discord server. From there, you'll meet the admins, meet the drivers, meet the fans of the series, and generally be able to get involved in the series and hear all the news that Next Gen Racing has to offer. If the QR code doesn't work, click the link in the description to take you directly to our Discord. A big shout out goes out to our partners, sponsors and affiliates here at Next Gen Racing that include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsports UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falcon and PC, and Doble Motorcycles, the title sponsor for this series. Next up, we have got Croft Circuit on the 29th of July. It will be an alternate circuit. It might be Silverstone International, I've been hearing as well. It might be Navara, it might be Lime Rock Park. We'll find out and we'll let you know on our Discord. This has been the NXTCC Season 9, Round 5, Blue Lobby at Oulton Park. We'll see you next time for Round 6 at the end of July. Thanks for watching so far this season. Thank you for watching tonight, and good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at Next Gen Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.